We are in. We're doing this for real again. Thank you guys for joining this VFX stream. It's been really fun to do this over the last 6 weeks. Every Saturday we have been here learning and creating stuff together, and I've really enjoyed bringing, all you guys together and all of us working on something really cool together. And that is the entire point of this whole thing, right? Is to learn and to grow. And if we can do it together, even better, guys. Even better. All right. So, if you guys aren't aware, there is a Discord channel for these streams. It's a place where you can give me suggestions. We can share our work. We can talk about the things we want to learn. And most of you guys probably know I have a full-time job at Corridor Digital, directing shorts on the Corridor channel. And, this stream is a weekend thing. It's a very fun thing for me, but I don't have a lot of time to, prep for this stuff. So the Discord channel is a good way for us to communicate. It's a good way for you guys to throw down all of your ideas so that I can look at that and come to the table, with a little bit of knowledge on what you guys are looking for. So if you guys aren't part of the Discord channel, it is in the description of this live stream. Sign up. There's a couple different tabs there. I need to add a few, but there's one called Tutorial Suggestions. You guys can leave all your suggestions for what kind of stuff you want to learn. But, about an hour or two ago, I left a little thing in there saying, hey, what do you guys want to learn? And y'all said you want to make a super scary face. So, if you guys hadn't seen the video, it's out. There's a video that has this face in it on Corridor. I spent the last 3 weeks, writing and directing this thing, editing this thing, working with Sam and Nico and Wes, and my best friend Brett to create a really goofy, Ghost Hunters Paranormal kind of spoof video. And it turned out, usually I hate my stuff. I hate all the stuff I do up until that last second where I'm just going to upload this. And it's not until the next day or two when I watch it online that I actually can sit back and enjoy it for real. So the video's out on Corridor, youtube.com/Corridor. And yeah, this scary face is part of the video here. So I want to be able to show you guys how I made this. And it's actually very simple. Here, I'll show you guys here. Boom. Floating head discovered in haunted tunnel. Ghost Chasers, case number 1. Hopefully we can do some more of these. But yeah, Sam and Nico, they're ghost hunters. And Wes, in the front seat here, was attacked by this thing in this tunnel. So Sam and Nico go into this tunnel to find out what this thing really is. And it gets really bad, as you can see here. It gets pretty intense. So let's talk about this. How did I make this face in Cinema 4D? You can do it in Blender. You can do it in 3ds Max. You can do it in Maya. You can do it in whatever 3D software you guys are working on. You can do it. So let us jump in together. All right, so I'm just going to start a new scene. And the first thing that I did when looking for, when creating that face, was looking for an actual face. So what I did was go to turbosquid.com. And turbosquid.com, if you guys don't know, is a great place for models. You can download very expensive 3D models. You can download very cheap 3D models. You can download free 3D models. So I just honestly looked up face. And over here on the price tab, go to free. And I believe I used either this one here, this free male head, or the free female head. Either one would work. But I was basically looking for something that, didn't look like this, but actually had a bit more polygons to it. I knew that I wanted to open the mouth. So I was looking for any sort of thing, any face that had an open mouth, but honestly, none of this stuff does. This doesn't work because it's not enough polygons. I know I want to deform the face with a displacement map, and displacement maps only work when you have a lot of polygons. And of course we could subdivide this, but I wanted to start with something a little bit closer to a head. So, you know, these two here, these are perfect. And the file types, they're OBJs. That means they work on any software, no matter what software you're using, they will work. So I just downloaded one of these. You know, there's also a website, free3d.com, which, you know, it's very similar. You type in head, and you'll get some other faces here, you know. Ooh, it's a skull, free3d.com, $80 skull on free3d.com. They also sell stuff too. So once I downloaded that, let's see if I can find that real quick. Let me browse to that. It's on my desktop here. Let us see. We'll do this from scratch, from base up. And then I'll answer some of y'all's questions. I see y'all in the chat. Oh, Nuka Zuka up in here? Dude, what's up, dude? Heck yeah. Nuka Zuka, he's got an incredible channel. If you guys don't know, go check it out. Super good to see you, man. Heck yeah, that's awesome. So, let's see. I was looking for that face. Where's that face? 3D models, Turbo Squid. Where the heck did I put it? Where did I put it? I hate it when this happens. I can't find this thing. I'm just going to download it again real quick, guys. I'm sorry. How's everyone's weekend going so far? Are you guys following along in C4D? Are you using Blender? Are you on that sketch pad? I know Melanie's drawing a lot of stuff, which I think is awesome. Even though she's not, she doesn't have Cinema 4D, she is doing her best to follow along and be creative as best as she can, because that is the point, for us to use this time, the next 2 hours, to create something awesome together. Doesn't have to be the same thing, but as long as we're creating and working on our passion, that's the point, right? Okay, I'm just going to download this head again really quick, guys. All right. Cool. All right, so yeah, let's check these comments here. How's everybody doing? Good to see y'all. I see some of you guys have watched the new video on Corridor. That's great. So yeah, we're making a scary face today. For those of you guys just tuning in here. Oh, snap. Is cinema crashing right now? Anyway, we're making a scary head. I just wrote and directed and finally uploaded this video on Corridor, where the scary face attacks Sam and Nico in the tunnel. So we're going to be making that. What else? Yeah, David, so I was not on this week's VFX Artist React because I was working on that Ghost Hunter video, trying to get that thing out. The deadline was crazy. There was a lot of work to do. Oh, Brett's up in here? Oh, what up, son? What's up, Brett? Heck yeah, dude. Yeah, Brett stepped in for Sam to do the face because, like, basically they had to smear clay all over their face, and it's very hard to breathe when you do that. Believe it or not. So Brett actually stepped in right there in that last minute and kind of saved the day, because that face makeup is pretty intense. All right. So we got this face up in here. And we need to kind of sculpt it, right? We're going to sculpt the face, and let's just copy it over into the scene that looks pretty. And let's get the face to scale. It's obviously really tiny. So again, for scale, I'll make a figure and the figure is, it comes into scale. So that means that this person is as tall as an average sized person. So we'll scale this head up so it's about the right size. That's fine. It's a little big, but that is okay. So now we know we have the right scale, and you can see there's a ton of polygons here, and honestly, I think it's a bit too much. We don't want to bog down the system. It's already getting a little chunky. So Cinema 4D has a really cool thing. If you select your model here, and you hold Alt, and if you hold down the subdivision surface, oh, wrong one. If you hold down the instance modifier here, you get this list, and I'm still holding Alt. And if I let go on polygon reduction, it's going to do a thing down here in the bottom left corner. So don't click around because you might crash your system. Anytime you're curious if Cinema 4D is like thinking or going through a process, just look in the bottom left and you'll see what it's doing. And that'll give you guys a good idea if it's frozen or not. But there you go. Look at that. It pops out here, with less polygons, and our system is already running a lot smoother. And I think this is plenty to work with here. This is actually perfect. I can go in here and I can say, oh, this is a 90% reduction. We could go with a 95% reduction. And, whereas that, yeah, it's less polys, it's a little extreme. So I'm going to go back to 90% on that. And you can actually do a cool thing where like, you tell it, oh, I want a certain amount of polygons if you have like a polygon budget, right? Or same with edges and vertexes and all that stuff, right? But we're going to have to make this editable. We're going to have to bake this polygon count in. So if you select the polygon reduction and hit C or press this little button, the make editable button up here, that will basically bake that in and we can delete the null. And the Alt, by the way, when you hold Alt, you're making, if I select this model and I hold Alt, whatever I spawn or select, it will become the parent of whatever you had selected. And if you hold Shift, it's the opposite, right? So if I hold Shift, it becomes the child of whatever I had selected. So that's just a quick little tip there. It's so good to see all you guys. Yeah, we got Brett in here. We got Nuka Zuka up in here. This is awesome, man. This is awesome. All right. So we want to sculpt this thing. And Cinema 4D actually has some really cool sculpting tools. And I am sure Blender has the same. And if any of you guys are using Blender, let me know here in these in the live chat. And you guys might be able to help each other out. If we got some advanced Blender users here. All right, so let's sculpt this thing. If I go to Window, Customization, Layouts, there is a Sculpt layout, and it gives you a lot of cool tools here to mess with this model. So, I know, let me show you guys a creepy video, because this was the whole inspiration for this. Olivier de Sagazan. If you guys had ever seen the movie Samsara, there is a very, very scary little art piece, and I'm just gonna throw this up here for you guys. This guy right here, absolutely terrifying. He does some crazy stuff. Look at this. Look how intense this is. You can see there's no nose. He still has his ears, but we're going to take the ears out from the face here. Kind of looks like the creature from Pan's Labyrinth. His face is completely smoothed over. So this was my inspiration for the creepy face. So how are we going to smooth this face over? I want to get rid of the ears too. And it's actually pretty simple. We can do it a couple different ways. Basically, you can use the grab tool and go to polygon mode and just start, pushing this stuff back like that. And in the grab options here, You can set the direction from mouse. You can set it to Z. So that way it'll go straight back. And you'll know that, it's just going straight back. You just want it to go straight back. And we'll kind of do the same for the ears too. We'll just kind of push these into the head. So instead of Z, we'll go X on the X axis and just push the ears in a little bit. And this is kind of doing the general work. And then we're going to come in with the like a smoothing brush and just really smooth out the details. So, it's just kind of a smooth surface. So let's see. There it is. Smooth. So I'll set the brush size to like 50 or something. And if you just start going to town here, you can really see the nose just kind of disappear. It's pretty creepy. See that? Now it's got no nose. And we can pull this out again because it kind of dips in. We'll set it back to Z, pull this out. We're just pushing and pulling polygons here. And then you can smooth it again. Smooth the whole front of that thing. Same for the ears. You can smooth these ears away. Right? So I'm just running the brush over that and just doing circles with the brush, and you can see it just kind of smoothing away. It's gone there. And there might be a tool to like spread the polygons around, more evenly distribute the polygons, but I don't know what that would be. I don't know. But that's okay. I'm just showing you guys the process I did for this face. So now we want to sync the eyes back. So what I'll do is go back to the grab tool. Yep, it's set to Z. And I'm going to set the size down to like 30. And basically put it on the eyeball here and push this back into the socket back there. Same for this eye here. Push it back so it just sinks back there like super deep and gross. And then we'll grab the smooth tool again and just kind of do a little circle around the edge of the eye. Smooth that out, right? So it's already looking pretty creepy here. We'll save the mouth for, you know what? No, let's not save the mouth. Let's just do it right now. We're here, right? We'll do it live. So, same deal. Grab tool. And you know what? Let's just grab our selection tool here and make a little creepy smile across this thing like this. And let's go back to the grab tool and let's just push these points back. And I believe, hold on, if you set the brush size to like 200, it's gonna just get the polygons you have selected and push those things back. And that is very, very creepy. That is very creepy right there. Let's smooth it out because this is just like one polygon here. And not so chill. So I'm going to set the brush size down to like 20 and then just kind of run it through the back of this thing. Why is that? Okay, it's just smoothing the polygons we have selected. So let's deselect that, go back to the smooth tool and hit it again. And it's going to generally kind of smooth this out. And we'll probably do a couple passes on this. Ugh. It's pretty gross. Pretty gross. I'm gonna leave that for now. We can always come back to this. Let's get rid of the neck here. So what's the best way to do this? Honestly, I just kind of I took the smooth tool when I did it for this video, and I just smoothed everything out. So everything's kind of getting condensed. And then I used the grab tool and just pushed it back up into the head. So we'll use the grab tool. Yeah, the size is 200. We'll set it to Y. So it just goes up like this. and we're just moving these points up into the head. Looks super gross, super disgusting. But that's what we're going for. Grab the smooth tool again and just smooth out that whole deal. Beautiful. Dude, it does look like a Fallout ghoul. Yeah, totally. Brett, how you doing, son? You practicing that guitar? I've known Brett for a very long time. He's one of my very, very best friends. And it warms my heart to have you here in this stream, son. It's like we're hanging out. Oh, well, kind of, almost. Not really. Because, you know, I just wish I could hear those sweet tunes, those sweet Brett Skate guitar tunes right now. How's everybody doing? All right, so Ninth Jake asks, what are we doing exactly? We are making a scary face, a very scary face, a floating head. Because I just released this video on Corridor, a Ghost Hunters video, and this floating head was a big part of the ghost hunting adventure. And I did it in C4D, and it took like, I don't know, 45 minutes to do. Make sure you guys save your work. Please save your work. So that's pretty good. Let's hop back into our normal setup here. This is what we're looking at. I can probably smooth out that upper lip. So I'm going to do that real quick. I have some like rogue polygons right here. And I don't know if those are going to go away. But I think for the sake of this, that's totally fine. Just want to be maybe not as intense on pushing those pieces back. But with the displacement and everything, like, you probably won't see it. So let's hop back in and throw a texture on this guy. Awesome. Very creepy. So I used a Megascans texture on this face, and since I knew I wanted to go for like a clay or mud effect, it's very easy to just look up clay or mud on megascans.se, and I'm going to load that texture in right now. Let's see here. All right. Boom. So we have here the color, which we'll throw into the diffuse, and that actually looks pretty sweet. that looks awesome. We have a roughness pass that we'll throw into the roughness channel. We have a normal map, which gives us that nice texture. And then of course we have a displacement map where if you look at the edge, see the edge of this face? You see how it's totally smooth? So the displacement map is going to mess with the actual physical geometry of this face. So if you go to the displacement tab here and add displacement, you'll get this little node, and we'll throw this displacement texture into the face. And that looks like a bunch of nothing. So let's tweak our displacement settings. First off, we'll set the resolution to 4K. And we will set our mid-level to 0.5. And that basically means, so the black points are getting pushed down and the white points are getting pushed up, right? You can see this image here, right? Anything that's black is getting pushed up. Anything that's white gets pushed down, or the opposite. But setting the mid-level to 0.5, make sure you're right in the middle. So things are going down as much as things are going up, versus if your mid-level was at the bottom, everything's just going up. if that makes any sense for you guys. And just a quick tip, if you select any of the black and white image textures you have here, like the roughness and the displacement, and you set the type to float, you're going to save on a little bit of RAM. So I always do that. So I think 10 centimeters of dispersion is too much, so let's just set that to 5. And already you're getting like a creepy, disgusting looking muddy face here, which is totally what we're going for. I think this is looking awesome already. And I don't even need to mess with the mapping of the texture here, because I think this is looking pretty great. Okay, next up, let's do the eyes. So honestly, all I did was I downloaded an eyeball model in material from turbosquid.com. And it just ended up being like little spheres. So I'm going to make a sphere, and I'm going to move it into the eyeball here. Scale this thing way down. And I think just setting it to like black was really creepy, and I liked that a lot. So I think I'm going to do that again. And I'll really like kind of push it back into there. Yeah. This is creepy. I like this. And I'm just kind of messing with this a little bit, pushing and pulling these spheres forward and back to see what gives me the best looking effect here. This is fine for now. Let's make a new material, new Octane material. You can just go to materials here and make a glossy material. And let's throw that down on the eyeballs, both of those. And if I set the color of these things, the diffuse, to black. Let's see. Why is that not working? Perfect. Yeah. Okay. So I'll set the color here just to 0. I think that's gonna give a creepy look when you shine a light directly at this thing. So let's see. Let's set up some lighting. Okay. Let's see if we can't set up some creepy lighting. So we have this set up, right? I'm just using an HDRI with HDRI Link from Grayscale Gorilla, and they're just the best. Those guys, like, that's how I learned Cinema 4D, is through Grayscale Gorilla. So yeah, sorry, I'm just reading these little comments here, guys. Thank you guys for joining. I really appreciate y'all. Blender versus C4D. Well, Blender's free, but I love C4D, so I'm using C4D right now. I think it's super fun. Honestly, whatever works for you guys. The amount of detail and technicality that goes into this surprises me every single time. Awesome. Yeah, I mean, 3D is super cool. You can do literally anything you want as long as you can technically do it. And if you spend the time to follow tutorials and watch tutorials, you guys are going to get to the point where you can literally do anything you want. You can do anything you want in 3D if you know how to do it. That is the coolest part. So for me as a director and a writer, I am not limited in the stories I want to tell. Because, you know, if I have to do something that has a super creepy floating face, I can do it. you know, or if you want to do a story about lava all over your apartment, you can do it. That's the best part. So let's keep going here. This face is going to come together pretty quickly. And I'm just messing with the eyes a little bit more. All right, so let's set up the lighting. I'm going to, let's see, I'm going to take my Octane Sky here, the HDRI, and I'm going to switch it from an image-based deal to just a color on the left here. So if I click that, it'll be just a color. I'm going to set this to black. So now you can't see anything because there's no light. It's just shrouded in darkness. And I'm going to make an Octane area light here. Move it up. Push it back so it looks like a flashlight, and it should be shining right at this thing. And I want to show you guys a cool trick. So I'm just gonna make, to show an example, I'm gonna make a plane and I'm gonna put it behind this head. And this is a really cool way to get realistic lighting, super realistic lighting. Why is it? Oh, there we go. So you see how this light here is visible in the viewer? If you click the light tag and go to visibility, you can uncheck camera visibility. And you see how this light is just blasting this background, right? There's no shape to the light. It's just it's a light panel, just a box. But what if we want it to be like a flashlight or a spotlight or a cone light, or, have some really cool, like a headlight looking kind of deal? Well, you can do that with an Ies Profile. And you can find free ones online. All you have to look up is Ies Profiles, free Ies Profiles on Google, and you'll find some cool ones. I might even just add it to the description of this video once we're done streaming here. But basically all you want to do is you go to main, right, in your area light tag, and you click Ies. It's going to go away because what it's doing is asking you, it's looking for a profile. So if you go to light settings and you click the distribution, it says there's an image texture loaded in here. If you click that box, you can see here it's looking for filename.ies. Error loading textures because there's nothing there. So if we click this little ellipsis here, we're going to load an Ies profile. And these Ies profiles, basically, if you guys can see here, they're just different light shapes, right? Different ways the light realistically is like I don't know, what's the best way to explain it? Each light has a shape and a very here's a good example, like this one. And notice how you see how like the light profile changes. It's a circle now. If I scale this up, or maybe even we have to scale it down, you can see this light shape. It's like a couple different rings of light, yeah? Let's turn the power up to 200. Let's go 500 just because. And you can really, really see the shape of this light. And I can switch this out, this Ies profile out for different shapes. This one's like a high beam flashlight. And this is the one I used for the video. Right, so we'll just use this as an example for now. I'm going to come in here, and I'll get rid of this plane, because that just gave you guys a little example of how the light was bouncing off. And the first thing that I'm seeing here, I definitely want this face to be shiny and gross. So how do we do that? Well, let's go into that mud texture we made. And let's go to node view. I really love working in node view. And it's going to be kind of like a roughness or a specular thing. And right now, this technically is reflective. But it's not reflecting anything because, you know, it's just an empty void. It's surrounded in black, and it has one light in front of it. But what we want is to have those little glistening specular highlights on the front of the face from the flashlight, right? So the roughness material right here, it's distributing the specular highlights and kind of spreading them around the face. So if we get rid of this, oh God, that's why you save your work, guys. That's why you save your work. But hey, that's a good chance to go to the comments here. Robin asks, any tips for indie filmmakers like me? Yes. Get out and film a video with your friends. Use your phone. It's free. It's easy. Well, making videos isn't easy, but it's very fun. And if I were to give you any more advice, it'd be to write stuff. Please write stuff. Because, one, writing is very difficult, but can also be very, very fun. And if you can become a good writer, even a competent writer, or just someone who understands like, oh, the story needs to work like this, and you've executed an idea to actually filming it, and you can even edit it on your phone with iMovie. Just make little Vine videos if you have to. And I know Vine is like, whatever, Instagram videos, TikTok videos, whatever. You can cut it on your phone, and you know, just get out there and do it. Just get out there and have fun. If you have a stupid, silly idea with your friends, just try filming it. You know, just try filming it. And if you can mess with Blender, which is free, then really you can do cool, crazy ideas then. Because now you have a program that's free that allows you to do, you know, wilder things. So I'd say, yeah, don't worry about the equipment. You know, you have a lot of stuff at your disposal. So let's keep going with this face here. We were taking out the roughness channel. And you can see how you get these little fireflies, these little specular fireflies. That's not quite what we're looking for. So one thing I know that's happening is the normal map and the displacement map, they're spreading out the reflection across the whole thing. So let's even take out the normal map. And you see that, you know, automatically the highlights start to get more defined. And if we even take out the displacement, then, you know, this thing just looks like a ceramic, or not ceramic, but, you know, some like porcelain figure or something. So you guys can see when we start plugging the displacement in, how it starts to affect this, and same for the normal, how it starts to affect it. And if we just take out the displacement, I wonder what it'd look like. Yeah, pretty creepy. So let's just start like walking down the amount of the displacement in the normal map. So I'll set the height on displacement to 2, maybe 3.5, because you still want the edges to be kind of rough. And then we can take the power of the noise down to 0.5, or the normal map to 0.5. And that's starting to give us a vibe here. And if we plug our roughness back in, you can really see how that just spreads it around the image, and it's too much. So let's crunch down this image here with a gradient map. And this is basically like a levels adjustment in, you know, Photoshop or Premiere or whatever you guys use. And what happens if we slide the white slider towards the black slider? I think it gets more washed out. What if we do the opposite? It gets more defined. Okay, so that's a bit much. What if we just start to crunch these in towards each other? That actually feels pretty nice. That looks kind of muddy and wet and gross. Awesome. The brown is a little too brown, so I'm going to throw a color correction node right in between there and just bring the saturation to like 0.2 and the gamma to 2.2 is a bit much. Let's go like 0.8. I want to give it like a muddy look. Or like clay, you know? Let's saturation 0.5. Something like this. Now, switching between path tracing and direct lighting isn't going to do much here because we're not bouncing light around too much. Path tracing is you're going to bounce light around. Here, I'll show you the difference. So if we have the face selected, I'm just going to hold control and make a, we'll make a plane. And we'll rotate this 90 degrees and just move it over. And you see how the light is bouncing from this plane? If I made a new material and threw it on the plane, and I changed the color of the material to, I don't know, blue, you can see how it's bouncing blue onto the side of the head. Now, if I switch to DL, actually, it does it looks very similar. But if I started to like, you know, build a little wall around this guy, what's going to happen with path tracing is it's going to bounce this light around a lot more accurately. Direct lighting, see, we'll check the difference here. If we go to compare, store render buffer, and then we switch to direct lighting, you can see the difference between the two. One of them actually bounces the light a lot more realistically, whereas the other, it's a bit more, it's not as render intensive, right? But it's also not as accurate. So it's a trade. But for this, I think we can use DL, direct lighting, because we're not going to be bouncing that much light, you know what I mean? We're just not. Save your work. Make sure you guys save your work. Hopefully everyone's doing well. Ugh. All right. So that's feeling pretty good to me. We can bring the light down even more, or honestly walk it in closer and scale it down a little bit more. And like walk it right up to this thing. That looks pretty creepy. So let's add some teeth. I basically did the same thing. I went to Turbo Squid. I downloaded free teeth. So let's bring those guys in. Let's see. Where would those be? Teeth. Look at these little guys. Look at these teeth. I don't need the gums, so I will select the gums and delete those. I just need these teeth. So I'm going to copy these into the floating head model. Let's zoom out here and just move these up to the head. I'm hitting S to snap the viewport to the model I have selected, hitting R, clicking, holding shift to rotate, and shift will snap your degree change there. I'll bring these down, put them into the mouth here. Oh my god, it looks like what's that dude from from Resident Evil? Kind of gives me those vibes. And we'll just kind of adjust the teeth a little bit. guy's got that freaking that underbite like crazy right now. And I'm not a fan of the facial expression. He looks just kind of worried. It doesn't look that scary. But we'll fix that. We will fix that. So let's do a thing. Let's do a thing with the teeth real quick. This is a cool little trick. So I'm going to just make a diffuse material in Octane. And I'm going to drop that onto the teeth, holding control and dragging to duplicate. And let's go into that texture. Okay, we'll hop into our node editor. And let's do a thing here. So let's have the teeth be kind of like an off yellow. So I'm going to click the color tab here, go to yellow, just kind of have it be kind of a gross yellow color. And the light is really bright right now, so it's making it difficult to see the yellow. In your camera, if you have a little camera here, you can spawn an Octane camera by going Objects, Octane Camera, or you can just make a camera up here, right click it, go to C4D Octane tags, and throw an Octane camera down on that guy. So let's see. The teeth are kind of yellow, but it's really bright right now. So if we go into the camera tag, you can bring the highlight compression up. I had it up already. Let's just take the light intensity down a little bit. A little bit more. All right, and let's zoom in here to see what we're doing with these teeth, these freaking like chiclets. Go back into the material, node editor. Okay, and I'm going to use the render region here just so we're seeing the teeth and saving on render juice. Because if you can move faster, why not, right? Okay, so I'm going to use the dirt modifier, this little dirt node here. And this thing is awesome. We used it in the tank texture tutorial. But if you drag this into diffuse, you'll see, first off, you'll see the teeth turn white. Because the dirt map, if you solo it, is just a white, it's a black and white image that you're going to be plugging in here. And if we take the strength and go to 10, you'll see what it's doing. It's basically making the edges dark, and anything, you know, that isn't an edge, it's remaining white. And if you take the radius up to like 3, you can really start to kind of walk that in, right? Take the radius to 10. And then if you want to make it more contrasty, you can throw a gradient in between that. And just like you would with levels, crunch this down. And it's not doing anything because we have our dirt node soloed. And there you go. You can see right here how there's some darkness and grossness in the crevices of the teeth. But the front of the teeth can remain a bit brighter, right? So what can we do with that? Well, what if we wanted to have our teeth still be yellow? How would we do that? So actually, you could just take the white node here, double click that, and make that be the off yellow. And that'll kind of do the same deal. And you can take the black, and instead of just black, it could be like a dark brownish, gross brown kind of feeling here. Yeah, something like that. And personally, like, since for the video, you're not going to be seeing these teeth super close up, it doesn't need to be super detailed, so that could be enough, you know? So the dirt map, using the dirt map to kind of get some really nasty, gross teeth going. But let's work on this mouth. I'm not a fan of the mouth right now. So before we do that, let's just hide this this light. You can either turn it off, but that's no fun because you can't see your model. If you go to this little top circle, click it once, turns green. That means it's always on no matter what. If you click it twice, it'll disappear in just the viewport, right? So you don't have to see that outline. It doesn't get in your way anymore. But let's make this mouth a lot worse. Let's select the face and go back to our sculpt layout here and really push this to the max. So I'm going to grab the grab tool here, and I'm going to set the direction to Z, and I'm just going to push this back and really have this smile creep all the way up into the face here. Just have this twisted smile. Yeah, that feels better already. And then instead of a overbite or an underbite, let's give them more of like a, let's kind of just bring the chin back. So I'll take the size of this thing back up. Yeah, that feels better. That's way creepier. That's way creepier. And I'm going to smooth it out just a little bit. Just a little bit. Because when you smooth it, it kind of gets rid of the hole here. And then I'm going to push this mouth back even more, guys. And if you guys find this view a little difficult to see, you can switch between your display modes with NA, NB, NC, or ND, and it just kind of changes the lighting a little bit. It'll turn off the wireframes, but I think in this case the wireframe makes it a little easier to see, but whatever, this is manageable. Pushing that back. Let's push it, let's go to Y, and let's push it up too. So there's a bit of like, make some room in this mouth. We'll push this up, and then we'll grab this and push this down. And just try and make some space back here. And then once again, we'll smooth it out. Awesome. Okay, let's go back to our normal view here. How's everybody doing? Robin, can I suggest the VFX shot for you to do? Absolutely. Yes, please. That's the point of this thing. Exceptional asks, what headphones are these? These are the Trex Air Aftershocks bone conduction headphones. These things are the best. Freaking love them so much. You can still hear, but you got your music going at the same time. I'm listening to that ambient playlist I got set for you guys. You can check it out in the description of this live stream. All right. So let's reset the teeth a little bit. I'm just going to scale the teeth this way. Yeah, that's pretty disgusting. Same for the bottom teeth. I'm going to scale them on the x-axis and just kind of push them back a little bit because we push the chin back. Rotate it up so we're getting the teeth in the back. Kind of looks like a really rough Ninja Turtle. Like if a Ninja Turtle just like stayed in the sewer for a little too long. Let's go back to the gradient. I'm just going to adjust the color of the dirt here again. There we go. right, so one thing I want to do is make the, well, okay, I want the eye sockets and the mouth to be darker than, you know, the skin here. I want it to look more sunken. So I think we might actually be able to employ the dirt node technique to darken up the crevices here on the face. So let's try that. I didn't do that for the original face, but let's see what happens. So we want to use the dirt node. We'll drag that guy in and we'll attach it to the diffuse. Okay. And let's set the strength to 10. And oh my god, that already looks super gross. Let's take the radius up to like 3 centimeters. Oh, god, that's terrifying. 5 centimeters. And then let's throw a gradient in front of that and just turn up the white, but also turn up the black. So we're just adding contrast to this. Oh, that's horrible. That is horrible. What if this thing was under your bed? What would you do? That is awesome. Okay, so that's our dirt map, right? That's what we're going to use to darken up the color. So we have that, but we also have just the normal color, right? So how do we combine those? Very, very simple. So you're going to use a multiply node here. We'll grab the multiply, and it asks for texture 1 and 2. And it's the same thing as like when you're in After Effects and you have a black and white image that is like your ambient occlusion pass. And you're going to set it to multiply, and it's going to get rid of all the white stuff but leave the black stuff, which is exactly what we want here. So we'll pipe the dirt node into texture 1, and then we'll pipe the mud diffuse color into texture 2, and then we'll put that whole thing into the multiply. And oh my god, that looks horrible. Ugh. Jeez. I am sorry, people, because that is looking rough. But that's kind of what we're going for. That's wonderful. That is wonderful. All right. So let's what should we do next? What should we do next here? I'm going to take the brown here, and I'm going to just mess with the color of this thing. So I'm going to do like 0.25 saturation and take the gamma to like 0.8 to make it a little brighter. Yeah, something like that. And mess with the teeth a little bit. And my favorite part is coming up here. My absolute favorite part, and that is adding hair. I think the hair really makes it super creepy. So let's select the face, and we will go to our polygon selection. And let's go up here and just give it like a super creepy, like some side hair, right? You get a little bit of side hair going across the top on the other side right here. Boom. It's kind of like the Indiana Jones skeleton, and we'll give it some back hair back here. You know, balding in the front. The George Costanza. Something like that, right? That's where we want the hair to be. And with the those polygons selected, all we have to do is go to simulate hair objects and add hair. And right out the gates, this dude has seen some things here. Okay, let's just cut the length down from the hair. So I have select the hair, and let's just do like 12 for the length. And if you pause our render and you hit play, the hair will just drop. And unpause it. And you're gonna have, yeah, some pretty rough looking hair on this thing. But let's tweak it. Fortunately, hair is really easy in C4D. So if I select the hair material, let's go in here and start tweaking some things. So if I do like, let's leave the color for now. Specular we'll leave for now. The thickness, right? These are like freaking Play-Doh strands. So let's take this down to like 0.1. Even less. 0.01 and 0.01. So they're very, very fine. And I'm just going to render region here, so we can move along a little faster. And it's too straight. So we need some frizz. Let's add some frizz. Okay, so it's still very straight, but it is curling out, so that's cool. What about kink? Let's turn off frizz and let's see what kink does. That is great. Okay, that's great. That is starting to look creepy because it looks like straw, gross and like unkempt and just nasty. We're starting to get there. So we know what that is. We know we're going to want some of that. We know we're going to want some of the frizz as well. So you have both. And what about density? What does density do? Probably does something, but I don't know what it does. What about clump? Oh, okay. So clump is going to clump the hair together. That's cool. So frizz, you could combine all these together. Let's keep going. What does bend do? Very, very subtle. What about curl? Whoa. Whoa. Yeah, that adds a lot. I think the curl is a bit too intense. So I wonder, let's see, amount 20. Oh, so it curls 20% of the hair. What if the curl is 20 degrees? Just a little bit. Random direction. Ooh, that's good. That's not bad. And then what about twist? I'm just going through all these to see what they do. Wave? Not much. And straighten. All right, so I like kink. I like frizz. Clump is nice. A little bit of curl. And I wonder if some of them have like some of the hair straight. So that's looking pretty creepy. Maybe we take the hair count. If you go to the hair modifier up here, take the count down to like 500. Oh, weird. Oh, it resets the dynamics. Okay. So we're going to pause this, drop the hair again, and re-render your scene. Okay. Let's mess with the frizz and the kink here. 50%. What does that look like? Okay, frizz 75%. Yeah, it's disgusting. That is disgusting. Specularity. Let's crank those up. So the hair has a bit of specular highlight to it. And let's adjust the color. If we just went with like white or just gray. That's pretty nice. Or if it was like jet black, you may not be able to see it. Ugh. Jeez. That is pretty rough, guys. What happened to our teeth? What happened to our teeth? Oh, there we go. All right, how's everybody doing? This is pretty intense here. So yeah, we just modeled this creepy face. We used the dirt map to fill in the darkness in the eyes and the mouth. We used the dirt map to dirty up the teeth. They could still be a little bit dirtier. We added some hair to this thing pretty quickly, pretty easily, and it's fully dynamic. We used a megascans.se texture, a mud texture, and we used displacement to change, to really add a bunch of detail to this face that we sculpted down into this position here. Okay, yeah, I wish the render viewer was cleaner to see all that detail. Yeah, it's this thing's looking freaking gross, man. Like, I'm just gonna let that sit here for a second. We can make a really scary scene with this, and I think it'd be wise to do that since we're here, right? Robin asks, I would really like to see a bullet 3D model spinning out from a gun with some smoke effects and all other stuff. Okay, fair enough. So, Robin, if you go to the Discord server that I've set up and go to tutorial suggestions, if you drop that there, people can upvote on that, and I'll actually be able to see it. Because I obviously see your comment here, but at least in the Discord channel, it's more organized, and I can reference it and look back at it. Vagard asks if I ever used Blender. Is C4D better or more professional? What do you consider to be a professional 3D program? Well, I've never used Blender, but I know it's amazing. And don't get down that it's free. Oh, it's free, so it must not be as good. Nonsense. That's craziness. Blender is incredible. You can do some really, really cool stuff with it. What do I consider a professional 3D program? I guess that depends, right? Because there are some VFX houses that just use Maya, because Maya actually, you can tab between different departments pretty easily. Like there's a modeling department, a texturing department, an animating department, a lighting department, and like a rendering department. And Maya, I've only used Maya for like 3 months, but as far as I understand, it sets it up in a pretty like linear, easy way to work with. C4D is awesome because it has everything in one, and there's a lot of people on Instagram, a lot of graphic artists that use C4D, and it's just them. It's just an individual, just like myself. And 3ds Max honestly is pretty old. It was what I've used 3ds Max for like 6 or 7 years, and I ended up switching back to Cinema 4D, which was my first 3D software. But that's honestly just because the guys at Maxon reached out and offered us the program. So I was like, yeah, absolutely, why not? Let's do that. It's really up to you. Some might consider Blender or C4D not a professional software because it may not be that easy to work with a giant group of people. But I'd still say that's nonsense. Whatever works for you. If Blender is free, accessible, and easy to use, there's a ton of tutorials out there, then please use Blender. You don't have to use C4D. You don't have to use Maya or 3ds Max or whatever, Oh, Maya's free for students. That's cool. I didn't know that. Sweet. Is there going to be a Ghost Chasers Part 2? I am planning on it. Yes. I really hope so. I really, really hope so. And it depends on how the video does. Again, this head is from... I modeled this face from... I modeled this face for a video I wrote and directed on Corridor. About a group of ghost hunters that go out and find a floating head in the sewer, and this is basically what they find in the sewer. Super creepy. But let's do something gross right now. Okay. I have an idea. have an idea. Let's take this head and let's put it on a stake and duplicate it a whole bunch and add some fog and call it a day. All right, how does that sound, guys? Pretty brutal, I know, I'm sorry. Ugh, that is terrifying. That is terrifying. So the stake, I'm going to go to Megascans just because I, call it a positive thing, call it a negative thing, but I am very detail oriented. I think it's both. I think it's good and bad. It's good when detail counts. It's bad when you have to rush something out. So let's just look up like a stick. All right, on Quixel Megascans, I'm looking up a stick, and actually they just redid their website. Let's go to 3D Assets, and let's look up wood, and this is basically what I'm looking for right here, but these look really tiny for some reason. And yeah, there's like a scale. There's a scale thing, but this is perfect actually. You can see the scale. It's almost as tall as a person. So we can duplicate this a million times. Wow, that's a really thick pole there. Okay, here, let's just see what else they have. I think that's going to be what we need. That's basically what we need. Yeah, let's do it. All right, I'm going to log in. I'm going to download this thing, throw this head on that stake, and duplicate it a whole bunch of times, add some fog, maybe throw down like a mud texture on the ground, a wet mud deal, and put it in like an overcast situation. It's dark, it's brutal, but hey, we're going there. We're doing it. All right. So do you guys, is anybody on the ambient music for VFX and editing playlist right now? Because I sure am right here in the headphones. If you guys like it, let me know. Let me know. It's very peaceful, very atmospheric, and good for creating, stuff. I like to write to ambient music. It helps me a lot, so that's why I have it. All right, so I'm going to bring in that object here, and it's just a stick. Nothing too special about it right now. And I'm using HDRI link to quickly load an HDRI material here. Okay, I'm going to make a new material and apply it to the stick. Go in here, and I'm going to start throwing on the different texture assets we need to build the stick out. And you guys know, we've done this a whole bunch before, right? So I'm going to drag those images, boom, into the material area here. We have the three main ones. We have the color, right, that does our color. We have our normal, which gives us the detail. And then we have our roughness, which gives us the appropriate specularity and highlights. And that's basically it. Look at that. That's a stick. And that's what we need. So, I'll save that. We will, let's set up our scene first with the sticks and everything and the mud, and then we'll add the heads last. So for a placeholder, we have a person. Okay. We'll take the stick and we're going to go, if we use the axis center tool, if you hit Shift C and type in axis center, basically what you're doing is you're moving the axis to the bottom of the stick, right? You can see how it's in the middle, but we want it at the bottom. So I'll just drop the Y down to 0, hit execute, and there you go. And we can use, let's see, if we go to the, let's actually make a sphere. Let's scale it down. This is going to be our head placeholder. Or rather, I'm sorry, I'm jumping all over the place, aren't I? I'll make this figure editable and just grab the face off of this thing. Where is the head at? There it is. So we'll grab that, delete everything else. And we'll put that on the stick for now. It's going to be our placeholder. And we'll center the axis with the axis center tool. And we'll drop that down, boom, right on top. We'll group those together. Group objects, Alt-G. And once again, we will move the axis to the bottom of this dealie here. Boom. Okay. So we got that. And then now we want to distribute it across an area. So let's make a plane. Let's scale the plane up and push it back a little bit. And let's do a thing here. If we select our stake, let's do a we can do this a couple different ways. We can use Octane and do it with an Octane scatter, or we can just do it in C4D. If you're going to do it the C4D way, basically all you're going to do is go to MoGraph, hit cloner, drop your stake into the cloner. You can see it's scaling it, or it's cloning it up. Mode is set to linear. Let's set mode to object. And what it's looking for an object to copy this model across right here, right? So if we drag the plane into the object tab, you can see how the stick and the head gets distributed across this plane. But obviously that's wrong, right? We want them standing up. So we'll select our cloner, and the up vector will be set to positive Y. That didn't work. Let's try positive Z. No. Let's just try them all. Let's see what happens. Okay, it looks like none of them are working. What do we do, guys? What do we do? I wonder, why is that not working, guys? Why is that not working? It should work. Maybe go to transform. Okay, there you go. Yeah, just rotate it -90 so they're standing up straight. Let's make a lot more. So we will go to the cloner, and the count, we'll set that to 200. We'll zoom in here, and we'll make a camera. We'll hop into that camera, and we'll shoot this on a 24. Now we want some of these heads. They look very uniform right now, don't they? So what we'll do is we'll use a random modifier. If we select the cloner, we go to MoGraph, Effector, and let go on random, it's going to randomly move these things around, okay? If you go to parameter, we don't want to move them up and down because they're stuck to the ground, right? So let's set the Y to 0, and let's set the X and Z. Technically, they're already randomly spread around on the X and Z, so we probably don't need the position, but what we do want is rotation and probably a little bit of scale. So with rotation checked, you can move these around, right? So we can go 360 on the y-axis, you know, so they're just going to spin this way. We can also go 20 degrees on the other axes, right? So you can do like 10 and 10 maybe, and that's going to be like a really cool way for these things to be spread around. And actually they all are standing at the same height, so I want to deal with that too. So maybe what we can do is if we go to position and set, I want to adjust the height on these, but I also want them to be connected to the ground. So what's the best way to do that? Maybe it's through scale, and we scale them on the Y like this, just a little bit, but we also want to scale it uniformly, right? So I think that would be nice, like something like that. And then absolute, if you have absolute scale, I think they'll go like, how does absolute scale work versus without it checked? Oh, I think some, to be honest, I'm not really sure right now. I think they get scaled more extremely, but I could be wrong. But let's keep moving, right? That's looking pretty good. Let's work with the ground next. So I'm going to take the plane. Let's up the segments to like 200 by 200. And let's hop out of camera view. Let's look at the ground here. And let's see. I want to give it some ridges and bumps, right? To make it seem like it's actually, you know, it has some, there's a bit of difference in the ground, right? And in the elevation. So I'm going to select the plane. I'm going to hold shift and hold down this little arc, this little bendy piece here. And in this area, these are all modifiers that you can use to modify your what do you call it? Your objects with. And I'm going to let go on displacer. Hopefully everyone's doing all right. Everybody still with me? Thumbs up, everybody, if you're still good. Appreciate you guys. So Muskrat's asking what today's plan is. Basically, we created a super creepy head, and I want to put that head on a stake, and I want to put those stakes on a muddy ground in a foggy area. And I know that is really jacked up, but, you know, sometimes, you know, I just like creepy stuff. So that's what we're doing, guys. We're doing some creepy stuff today. And we're going to get back to this plane here. If I go to shading and I click shader and I click noise, look at that. You see how it already is doing some cool stuff? We're going to do more of a macro adjustment across this plane. So we're going to add some hills and ridges and stuff. And then we'll actually use a texture for the detail, right? So I'm going to click the noise and let's go to global scale 1000, right? So it's more of like a general thing. Let's even go 2000. And let's take our contrast and just crank it. And you can see how it's going to get pretty extreme here. Like you can go to town on that. But let's just get some hills and ridges. So that is looking nice. But let's keep pushing it. If you back out and go to object and set the height to like 25, then you can really start to see some ridges and hills going on here. Let's go to 30. And if you go into the shader again, let's change the global scale to like 5,000. That way we're getting some more like hills and ridges and stuff right there. You guys can see that, right? This is kind of like if you guys saw 1917, I'm going for like No Man's Land kind of vibe. So now that we have that, let's put a really interesting texture on the ground here. So there's a website called rd-textures.com, and honestly, these are the highest quality textures I have ever used. These things are absurd. The detail on these are through the roof. They are the best. So you guys can see, like, this is all not loading. Yeah, look at this. Look how realistic this stuff is. He's using the forest floor pack for that. There's rocks, there's concrete, there's train tracks, scaffolding, wood, all this. This site takes a minute to load here. But yeah, it's just the best. And they have some really good mud stuff. So that's what I'm going to be using for this, is their mud. And I'll make a new material. I'll apply the new material to the plane here. And it's a glossy material because we want the mud to be wet and nasty. And let's load that in. So let's see here. Let's pull this up. Ooh, okay, so we have like tire mud, right? That's awesome. We have sand mud, like this. And maybe we can combine the two. We can try that. So let's start with the tire mud. Okay. And let's like zoom in here so you guys can really see the power, the true power of these RD textures here, and you'll see this thing transform. It's gonna be awesome. This is my favorite part. So I'm gonna grab, let's start with the normal map. And they come in 4K and 8K texture sizes. And I'm starting with the normal map, and you'll see right away this stuff start to work. I'm going to give it projection node, change the projection to box, and that feels right to me. Let's do the depth map next. So that is our displacement map, okay? And that is where these things shine. All right, so I'm going to go to displacement, add displacement. We got our node. I'll drag that into the texture and make sure that I use this texture projection on this as well. And you know what? Is this going to work? I don't know if this is going to work because I know there are some issues with projection maps in C4D when you set the when you change the projection in here. So I'm actually going to delete that and reload the scene, and I'm just going to change the projection over here. So I'm going to select the material over here and change the projection here to flat, and that should give us the ability to tile this thing more appropriately. So tiles instead of 1, let's set it to like 10. Oh my goodness. Let's try that again. Let's take the displacement texture down to 10. Tiles 2. Reloading the scene. I'm just going to try and get this right. Why does that look so jacked? What if I just said it's cubic? There we go. That looks right. We'll go 1.5 on the tiles. Perfect. Okay. So now we can keep building this thing out. Let's take the displacement texture up to like 20. Yeah, we can go to 15. Okay, let's keep adding stuff. So we'll do a bump map next. All right, we'll drag that in. And this is all just detail on detail on detail. It's getting really, really nice. And you can zoom way in here. And you can really see this stuff work. Let's keep moving. Let's do, next we will do, let's do the color, right? Pipe that into the diffuse tab. And we'll take the displacement down again to 10. It's looking really gross. And we want to have it look like it was rained on. So we're going to start piping in some specular maps, some roughness maps. And these actually come with images for like a wet look. So we'll grab roughness wet and just put that into the roughness tab. And we'll do the same with, let's see here, the gloss map here. Gloss wet. Or high, oh, there's a high gloss as well. Let's do that. Beautiful. Sweet. So you can really see the tiles from here on the ground, but if we go back to the camera view, if we're low enough, yeah, you can see it. So let's scale it up a little bit more. We'll click this, we'll go to tiles, let's go 1, just set it back to default. And let's go even more, let's set it to like 0.5, so it's getting larger. Awesome. Cool. And you see how, like, if let's here's a cool trick. If we add a plane and we scale it way up, and we can actually turn this into water. So let's do let's see, we can do this a couple different ways. We can do a glossy material, drop that on the new plane we just made. We'll go to index, we'll set it to 1, so it's perfectly reflecting the area. And let's actually grab like a different HDRI map here, something that is in like truly in the middle of nowhere and more of an overcast look. Let's see what Racetrack Sundown looks like. That could work, but I think in, let's see, commercial locations, there's some fog. There's a foggy one somewhere. Foggy Park with sun. Yeah, that's what we're going for. Yes, yes, this is the vibe right here. This is like Resident Evil 4 when you enter the village for the first time. Yeah, this is getting cool. And we'll find our framing in a second here. But let's mess with the water because it's not supposed to be just chromed out. Let's actually make a specular material. So this is like glass, right? And let's throw that on the plane. And let's check. This is very important. If you go to common, you check fake shadows, you'll be able to really like see through this stuff. And then let's do, let's see here. Let's give it a bit of texture. So if we add an absorption medium to it, you'll be able to kind of see through, like the water will be a little bit murky, right? And we can do, let's see, absorption. And if you add a RGB spectrum to that, you can probably change it to like a brownish look. That's pretty cool. And then we'll bring the plane down a little bit more, maybe. That's feeling pretty cool. Let's combine this mud with a different material as well. I hope you guys are doing all right. Sweet. Thanks for following along. Yeah, join that Discord channel so you guys can post your work as well. We can all give each other some helpful advice on our work. All right. So I'm going to copy over this material, go into it, and let's actually apply it, right? Because we're going to change some of these attributes. And we're going to make a whole new material. And it's going to be more of like the kind of like a, I'll just show you guys. It'll be more like this, right? Where there's sticks and stuff on the ground too. And I'm just going to drag and drop to replace these images. So there's the bump map. And the color. Then we have our depth map as well. And we have muddy high gloss. We have our normal map. And our roughness map. And I'm just going to scale this stuff down. Obviously, it looks too big right now. Awesome. And then let's just take the scaling of this down to like 0.25. Whoa, okay, the other way. Let's go to 2. And let's keep going. Let's go like 3. And let's take the displacement. Oh, set our mid-level to 0.5. Always set that mid-level to 0.5. Let's take the displacement and crank the height up. I still think it's too big. Oh, it's set to UV mapping. We need to set it to cubic. And then go back to the 0.5 deal. Yeah, that feels better. Awesome. So I want to combine these two materials together. Okay, so the best way to do that is with an Octane mix material. So we'll go to materials and we will use an Octane mix material. And that's the coolest thing about Octane is you can mix as many materials together as possible for infinite combinations. And let's drop this mud material. Oh, let's try that again. With your mix material selected, let's drag and drop the Octane material into slot 1 And then the second material we made, let's drag that into slot 2. And I'm just going to rename this stuff to mud. And this is like sand. I'm just going to call it sand for now. And we'll go into the mix material node editor. And let's just make sense of all this stuff here. I'm going to right click these and hit auto arrange selected. I'll select the hierarchy. Where is that? Where is it? Boom, select hierarchy. So you can move this as a whole. I'll do the same here. Auto arrange, select hierarchy, move it over to the side. So we have these two nodes here. This is our material 1. This is our material 2. And it's being piped into this mix material right here. And it's being distributed with this float texture. So it's half and half, right? And oh, let's not forget to apply our material to our plane. Reload our scene. And why? Oh, it's messing with the... Oh, okay. Yeah, we have to redo this. Let's set the projection to cubic. Tiles to 0.4, 0.4. Reload the scene again. Okay. So it's blending them 50-50, but we don't want that. So let's delete that. And let's make a noise map. And we're going to basically with a noise map, anything that's black is material 1, anything that's white is material 2. So with that in mind, let's select this and let's just crank our contrast up to 100. And then there you go. You can see right there that the materials were distributed evenly, right? But that doesn't look good either. So let's actually see if we can't mess with this a little bit. Let's go to octaves. Let's go 10 octaves on that. And omega, we'll set that to 0.8. So we're getting a lot more detail in the way it's being broken up. And if I right click the noise, hit solo node, oh, it's still difficult to see. So don't worry about that. Let's go to 0.9 on the omega. And that's really breaking it up nicely. And we'll take the contrast and start walking it back down. Okay, contrast 25. And if you take the noise and you add a projection map to it and set it to box, and then we add a UV transform to it, we can start to kind of scale this noise up so you have a bit, it's just larger, right? So you have larger chunks of mud, larger chunks of dirt. I'm gonna go to 15 even on this thing. And you can set the noise type. You can change the noise type, which is cool. So turbulence, what does circular look like? Oh, what about chips? I feel like Perlin was getting us a nice look there. So let's take the sand texture and just mess with the color of it a little bit. I'd like to make it a little darker to match that mud a bit more. So in the diffuse tab here, I'm just going to scroll down and add a color correction node to it. And it looks like we want to darken it a bit. So maybe we'll just take the brightness down to like 0.7. That kind of gets us there. 0.6. Feels pretty nice. Yeah, that's pretty awesome. Let's hop back into our camera and see what that looks like. Yeah, it's looking pretty cool, pretty creepy. Very nice. Very, very nice. Now, the only thing I don't like is that the water here is like, the edge is so sharp. So there might be a way to like, how would I do that? Rothwick's asking, what are we doing today? What are your plans for this render? So I just put out a video on Corridor. It's a scary video where a flying ghostly head attacks Sam and Nico, they're ghost hunters. And we just kind of went through how to make this creepy floating head. And I was like, you know what? Let's throw it on a stick and let's put it in no man's land and add some fog and make a cool picture. So that's what we're doing today. Connor says, you could use noise as a factor for the bump of the water for more detail. Yeah, totally. Hey, that's a good point. So let's go back to the water here. And I'm going to use the, go into the specular. Let's go to the bump and let's just add noise. And let's see, go to our node editor. And for noise, let's see. I'll do it this way. I'll add noise from here. Bump. Add projection. Set it to box. UV transform. And we'll scale it up a little bit. All right, so we have a little bit of detail in the water there. Some ripples, which is looking really nice. But I still have that edge, that hard edge. And technically there's a way to do this where it's like adding, making concrete wet and stuff and making it look wet. But that'd be difficult in this situation. What's the best way to do this? It's getting tricky because we're dealing with different scaling across different textures. Let's come back to that detail because we may not even notice depending on our camera angle. So we don't want to waste time here. So let's as a last little deal here, let's add some fog. So Octane Fog is great. It's called Octane Fog Volume. Let's spawn one of those. Let's go to it's basically sitting right there. And it's really dense right out the gates. It's very, very dense. So what we're going to do, and it's also very intense on your system. I'm going to select the volume. I'm going to hide it from our renderer for now, okay? That's that bottom circle. And in our viewport, let's see, let's go to main, generate, and the voxel size, let's set that to 100. If you go to a lower number than 5, like 3 or 2, or God forbid 1, you will blow up your system. So just be very careful with the fog here, because if we're going over a large area, it can get really tricky really quick. Let's grow the scale of this thing. Let's make it larger, and let's push it forward. Okay. Just bring it into the area that we're dealing with. Okay. So it's like a low-lying fog right now, which is pretty sweet, actually. Hop back in here. And let's turn it on in the renderer. And it's not looking good. Looks like butt. So how do you fix that? You go to medium, right? Click this little image here, the volume medium, and you have scattering and you have absorption, okay? But first, let's take the density and just set it to 1. Let's try setting it to 0.1. And we want it to be pretty subtle. Let's try 0.35. Let's try that. Let's move it up. It's actually pretty sweet. Let's take the absorption and change the color to a brighter color. And we'll take the scattering and make it a little darker. And you should set your fog to path tracing. Or not, you don't set your fog to path tracing, you set your scene to path tracing. And let's see, let's mess with the density here. Let's try 0.25. And let's take the scattering phase and crank that up. And I want to be able to just have it be like a wall of fog in the background. So maybe what I'll do, instead of using this HDRI image, I'm going to just grab a color like this, right? But just take it down in the background. So we're kind of getting this eerie fog here. Let's make it brighter. Let's make the fog brighter. Something like this. Very Silent Hill. I'm taking the background down. And then let's add a sun. That looks really cool. I'm going to hide the volume from our picture viewer so we can see what we're doing. Make sure you save your scene. And let's bring our sun and point it. Let's see what's going on here. So I'm directing our sun right at us here, hopefully. What is going on? Oh, I'm changing the volume. I'm sorry, guys. Let's try that again. Let's bring the sun around to here. And take the turbidity to like 10. And let's set our fog volume, the scattering phase. Let's see, let's move that down a little bit. Let's take the density back to 1. Maybe, I don't know, 0.75 or so. All right. And let's move the fog up and then scale it up like this. Ooh, now this is getting spooky. All right. Let's see. Let's take the sky color of our sun here, and that's like mix the sky texture with the background we made. So that's going to use the color, the HDRI as our sky, but we still have our sun piercing through. Take the density. Let's go to 0.5. And I'm kind of feeling the vibes here. This is getting creepy. Yeah, this is nice. All right. Let's try a little bit of color correction on this. Just gonna set the camera up. And let's grab the camera here and let's go to Camera Imager and turn that on. And this is awesome. So basically you can add in different LUTs or color looks. And oh man, that already so creepy. I love it. We'll set the gamma to 2.2. That is so creepy. I love it so much. Let's add a vignette for now. We can kind of take that off or add it later. I like to add it later, but for now I'm kind of feeling that. We can make this a black and white image, which I think would make it a little spookier. That's cool. But But I don't know. I always go back and forth between black and white and color because I think that looks really nice too. You can take the exposure to like 1.5. So now you have to ask yourself, if you were a photographer and you were here, how would you frame this up? You know, I really like center framed stuff. This is getting spooky, guys. Oh, that's so creepy in the water like that. Jacob, wish you would have seen this before rendering your duck video. Well, dude, I'm glad you've joined, and I'm glad we're learning a thing or two. So next time you make duck video number 2, you'll be a little bit better off. Yeah. All right. So we're nearing the end here. We're getting close to this final image. Is everyone doing all right? Everyone's hanging in. We've had a healthy stream. You know, we've had like about 65 people in this thing the whole time. So I'm glad you guys are in. I'm glad you guys are doing this. All right. Dang, Douglas, going on your first plane ride tomorrow. Good luck, man. Listen to some ambient music and chill out. Because it helps. It helps a lot. All right. I'm going to mess with the water a little bit. See if we can't improve the quality of this thing. Maybe we'll bring it down. Tiny little puddles. Maybe it's just little tiny puddles. I don't know. It was nice the way it was before. It is so creepy. So yeah, you could start getting tricky with your the placement of these sticks here. Maybe we'll take the camera and go really wide with this. Let's go like 15 or something. And maybe this is better from another angle, like over here or something. You just kind of have to move around and see what works best, you know? I'm finding the frame here that looks the coolest. This is pretty nice right here. Let's try 35. See if that gives us a cooler look. This is pretty cool. I like this. Man, that's creepy. Super creepy. And you can always adjust the seed of the way things are spread around here. So you can just kind of cycle through this. That's not bad. Ooh, that's actually not bad right there. That's cool. Yes, yes. Heck yeah. This is looking nice. So we're very close. We just got to drop the heads in. I might want to like switch out some of the sticks so that there's a bit more jaggedness to them, perhaps. And I really want the ground to feel a bit more wet. And you're saying, Joel is saying it's maybe lacking something to give me a sense of scale, and I think that's a very good note. It's like, what can you grab onto to know, oh, this is that size, or this is that size? And, well, we have heads, so that's going to help. But I think like a fence or something, like a nasty looking fence through here, or maybe some like trash or garbage or something, or we can search through the Megascans library and see if there's anything cool that we can add to the scene here. If we go to 3D assets, and we can just like drop some like debris. Yeah, here's debris. So like there's trash. I feel like there wouldn't be trash out here. Maybe there'd be rocks, stones, or something. I think there'd definitely be some sticks and stuff. So maybe we can throw some sticks in there and scatter those around. Let's see. We could put some trees in here, actually. See, now, branches like this, right? This, I feel like the heads would be on something like this to really go to town. Yeah, like this kind of stuff. So we could switch that out for like tree branches and stuff. We could also put some tree stumps in the background as well, which I think would be really nice, really, really cool. But you could also do, like, you could probably use like Forester to get some creepy trees back here too. So what would that look like? I'm just gonna use Forester plugin, make a tree real quick. And let's go to our tree library and find the creepiest looking tree we can find. Like a cork tree like this could be pretty interesting, and not give it any leaves or anything, Ooh. Yeah, like this is cool. Branch level, straighten tops. There's all these like settings here. We just gotta find the right tree. Like, that's not bad. That's not bad. Yeah, I can just go through here. Oh, I feel like that's the one. The Weeping Willow. Yes, I feel like this is the one. That's creepy. That's a creepy tree. Tree parameters. Let's see. Let's go back to our. Let's just put that tree way back there. Let's go back into our scene. And let's bring this tree up. Yeah, that's creepy. You can have a few of those, so I can bring the size of the tree down to like 0.5. Dude, hang a corpse to the tree. Oh man, that'd be the freaking one, man. That'd be the move. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I love that. That is creepy as all. And tilt this camera up. Something like that. And then if we wanted to change the sticks out, let's see if I can't open up. I might have some pre-saved ones here because they're too straight. I don't like the straightness of the sticks. I think we can go for a more jagged look. Branches, debris, and twigs. Whoa. Oops. Let's try that again. Okay, yeah, so I have a lot of sticks here from Megascans, and we can find a few that work for us. So I just want to find something that's nice and jagged and sturdy and, you know, something that would be doable. Like, I think this one's pretty good right here. Let's see what else I have. Tree branch. That's a little too much. These ones might also be a bit much. I think I'm gonna have to go in and just kind of like choose one that works for what we're doing. Yeah, these are all too short. But I'm pretty sure I have Ooh, okay, I have a dead tree. That's pretty creepy. Decisions, guys, decisions. This is where the detail comes in, and I take forever to do something, but heck, I mean, we're here. We're doing it. All right, let's just go back to Megascans and see if we can't find a nice twig or stick that works for us. Tree branch. Yeah, this one's good. See if I can get like a pack of tree branches. These are nice. think I'll go with these two right here. Let's download these guys. And the other one, boom, download that. Okay, so that's going. What else do we need for our scene here? Suggestions are welcome, y'all. Suggestions are very welcome. So, having some stuff scattered on the ground would be cool. The tree definitely helps bring it together. We're going to change out the branches. Let's see if we can't make this ground a bit more wet. Right in here. So we'll go to the mix material. And let's take off the roughness and the specular. Uh-oh. God dang it. Second crash of the day. But we're coming back quick. We're going to make the ground a bit more wet and reflective. Ooh, a crow. Yes, a crow. Crows, that is a great suggestion. Maybe a light source, like something burning or a dropped flashlight. Okay. I like the crow idea, sitting on the feature head. Okay, some crows on the willow could be creepy. Agreed. Playing Pokemon while watching the stream. Heck yeah. Freaking love Pokemon. One of my favorite games ever. A human. Did I read that right? A human in a cage? You guys are freaking twisted. Or a human cage like in a willow. The dead tree is perfect for dangling a skeleton. Okay, yeah, for sure. I like the crows. I think the crows is a great idea. I think that one of the things that I'm struggling with in this image is which is the hero head. Fair enough. We'll figure out if we want a hero head or if we just want more of like a general vibe where the head isn't just bam right in the front. I do like subtlety. But we'll see. We'll mess with that. Maybe some cattails or weeds or something. Okay. Oh, weeds. Yeah, we could do some weeds. We can do a little bit of that. A doll hanging from the tree. Hanging rope or some sort of effigy. Like, let's see. Okay, these are all great suggestions. So let's gather our assets. TurboSquid.com. We're going in for a crow. I think that's a great idea. We're going to go to there's 0 free crows, guys. What about $1? Are there dollar crows? Dollar menu crows? This one's $8. That's not bad. Let's try free3d.com. Crow. This crow is free. Dude, why does the freaking JPEG have to be so low quality? Oh, it just looks horrible. Let's try it. We're here, right? Let's do it. Let's try this. Okay. 3D models. Crow. All right. Let's gonna be a virus or something ridiculous. Here's the thing. It's low poly, but that's okay because it's gonna be in the background. I'm gonna put it like scattered on the tree or something. I'll have to figure out how to do that in a second. But okay. Let's drag in this crow OBJ and see what we got. Okay. Oh my goodness. What's happening? What is even happening? I can't even see it. It's so, is it tiny or large? I can't tell. Oh, it's tiny. Okay, so we need to scale this thing up. There's our guy. This will totally work for us. It's very low poly, but it's going to work. We're just gonna honestly slap a black diffuse material on this crow and call it a day. It's gonna be as black as night. Does it even have? It doesn't even have a. It doesn't even have a texture. It didn't even come with a texture. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't even matter, guys. All right, so I'm gonna copy this thing, paste it into our scene here. Boom. Get out of camera view, and let's move this thing up to the tree. Where are you? Where are you, crow? So if I wanted to scatter this thing around the tree, man, I could just start like placing it manually, but that is no fun. Can you even see him? Is it up there? This is so ridiculous. Let me try something crazy here. Let me try scattering, like the same way we scatter these heads. Let me try scattering these crows. So I want this crow. I want to scatter this crow with an Octane scatter. I want to distribute it across the surface of this willow tree. And I want there to be 20 of them. And is it even working? It's thinking. Okay, why isn't it working? It's not working. Maybe I have to make the tree editable. I'm gonna duplicate the tree, hit C. Oh my goodness, it's editable. Let's take off the leaves. We're left with the branches. There's a lot of branches. I just want the main branch, the main chunk here. So I'm going to zoom in. Great, okay. Wow. Oh, that's a lot. Ha! Melanie, thank you. That's awesome. That is a super chat. I just enabled it last week. Great idea on the crow. But thank you so much. That's very, very kind of you. Thank you for doing that. I didn't want to say that I had the super chat thing because it's kind of awkward, but yeah, it's there. That's a super chat, and Melanie just did it for €5. So thank you so much, Melanie. That is amazing. God, you guys are awesome. Yes, this is awesome. Sweet. Okay. So we're trying to figure out how to scatter Melanie's crow across this tree. I might just manually place these things because this is going to take a minute. Like, for me to figure out how to do this, it's just going to take a minute. So let's just delete the tree. Let's turn this thing back on. Let's get these crows out. And let's just start manually placing these things. Let's see. Adrian says adding another light source could be cool. The fog is flattening the image quite a bit. Even just some red eyes on the crow. Put the crow on one of the heads closer to the camera. Yeah, agreed. Feed him with a hanging eye. That's hilarious. The human cage referring to the movie Willow, not in the willow tree. Would struggle to work. Branches looking weak. Oh, you guys are saying Sketchfab. Try Sketchfab. I will definitely do that next time. The shadow of someone walking by the tree could be interesting. Some gravestones could also be interesting. Dylan, trying to figure out what the stream is about. Dude, so the stream is about, well, I'm using Cinema 4D. I'm trying to teach you guys Cinema 4D and how to create a cool image every week, every Saturday, and make something awesome. And every Saturday we do something different, right? So I might focus on texturing, I might focus on modeling, I might focus on taking an image and bringing it from start to finish. But really it's a chance for you guys and all of us to get together every Saturday and work on our passion. So if that's drawing for you, like Melanie, I know is she loves drawing, so she's gonna do that, right? A lot of you are using Blender, some of you are using C4D and following along with what I'm doing here. But the point is to learn, the point is to grow, the point is to continue working on our passion. And honestly, this is stuff I love doing, so I'm going to be doing this regardless and having a good time. But I'm just moving this crow manually now. This is definitely the chump way of doing things, but it will probably get us to where we need to be. Let's scale that guy down. Let's go up. Let's get one on this branch here. Right. And you just want to make sure the rotation is all different, but you do want to have a silhouette. You want to get your silhouettes down. Wait a second. Why is the crow not there? Oh, it's because it's in the scatter still. Wait, is it? Yeah, okay. So, still going with the crows. Moving these guys around. Holding control to click and drag. Oh, God, man. Navigation here. Let's move this guy back. Right in there. And really, I'm just kind of... Don't have to be too precise because we're just going for silhouettes. So if we go back into our camera view and we just do a little render region here on the tree, you should be able to see some crows up in there. And sure enough, they are up in that tree. But let's get them on these bottom branches too a little bit. All right, let's go one here. Trying to get this guy down onto this branch. And again, this is pretty chumpy way of doing this, but you know, I could select the exact polygons I want to put the birds onto, and then just kind of scatter them across those. I could just do a top-down selection of polygon points and do it that way as well, but we're almost there. You know, the reason I'm doing it this way is because the amount of time it would take to do it any other way would probably just be as long as what I'm doing right here. And also we do get to kind of art direct it, you know? Well, not kind of. We 100% get to art direct it because we're choosing exactly where these crows go and we're moving them around, whereas the scatter thing, You know, you can kind of do that if you're choosing the right points and stuff. We're almost done here. I'm such a huge fan of Resident Evil 4. You guys remember that game when you like go to the village for the first time and there's the crows everywhere and stuff? You shoot a crow, you get a grenade. Total classic. All right, let's go back to our camera view. And yeah, there's crows up in that tree. Certainly, that's awesome. Okay, Dylan says, in the future, you should do something like getting viewers' project files and seeing what you would do to change it. Help them with a question would be a fun, interactive way to do things. I agree. I want to be able to have this be more of an interactive thing. Obviously, like I'm reading your guys' comments and we're talking about stuff as we're going. But yeah, I want to figure out like fun little games that we can do together or fun little render challenges that we can do together. I think it would be awesome. So I'm definitely keeping that in mind. And I would love to at some point, like maybe start a Patreon or something for this where I can provide project files to you guys and do one-on-one chats, and we can do one-on-one like classes, or maybe even like 10 people. We can get a class going together. I think that could be interesting if you guys are down for that. But yeah, I just want to be able to provide as much value and content to you guys as possible. And right now, it's just, Saturday for a couple hours, so I would need a bit more time to put into it, need to think about it a little bit more and figure out what's the best way to go about that. What's the best way to build this out? And you guys are totally helping me here by being very vocal here in the chat and helping me brainstorm. So I appreciate that. Maybe center the willow just a little bit, you said? Is that what? Maybe off-center the willow. Oh, so here's the thing about the willows. I love symmetrical images. So I just got to put that willow center frame, you know what I mean? But thank you for the suggestion. I appreciate it. Jacob, what did I miss? We're making a creepy scene. We modeled a head. We're going to put heads on these stakes. Melanie suggested we put a crow up in those trees, so we put a crow up in those trees. We did some textures. We, made the ground all muddy and gross. About to make it wet. Pablo, yeah, Resident Evil 4 was the best. Super nostalgic. Ooh. Okay, 15-degree Dutch tilt. I'll see you on that. I will see you on that. The fog volume is an actual fog volume. It's not a Z-depth pass, but that would be a quick way to do it. Could you somehow allow us to make a natural looking glow in our scenes? Let me read that one more time. Could you somehow show us how to make an... Okay. Natural glow. So if you're using Cinema 4D and you're using Octane, there's actually a post-process pass. If you click the camera tag here, go to post-processing, you click that, and you can start tweaking these numbers here to get a nice glow in the scene. So you can crank those numbers to get a nice glow going, which is pretty nice. That's not bad. We can mess with that a little bit. Certainly. Yeah, some challenges would be fun. I agree. A Slenderman behind all of this could be interesting. Brett, dude, I'm surprised you're still here, son. It's been almost 3 hours, son. Let's get that breastgate rotate going. That's my favorite. Let's see. Just a little bit, right? Just enough to be like, something doesn't feel right here. Ooh. Yeah, that's creepy. How far do you want to take this, though? You trying to go all the way, son? How far are you trying to take this, son? We'll take it to the max. I think just a subtle little twist to it is super creepy. Yeah, that's awesome. Let's see. Douglas, I was not imagining watching this at midnight on a Saturday, but this is very pleasant. I am very thankful and I appreciate it. I hope it's chill for you, dude. Magnificent Ben asks, what's the best Octane alternative? I'd love it, but a little pricey for me right now. Dude, honestly, Blender. I think it's free for Blender. So check out Blender. Gather up free models, put them in a Google Drive, and give yourself and viewers like an hour or two to make and render something cool. Yeah, like the Beeple challenge we did. That'd be awesome. That's a good idea. That's a really good idea. We'll do like render challenges together. That's a super good idea. I think we might have to do that next week. A little warmth, like a fire somewhere. Have I thought about a little fire? Oh, what about lanterns? Like, what about some lanterns or something? We could do that. Something you could only see in the reflection of the water. Oh, man, that's a good idea. That's a good idea. That's good. That could be super creepy. That could be super creepy. Yeah, like some tall like person standing here, and then so like for example, if we had a let's see, what's the best way to do this? If we had a figure standing right here on the little beach. Here. Right? And you just give them a really dark texture. And then you could add an Octane object tag, go to visibility, turn off camera visibility, and see how you can still see their legs down here? Like, that could be super cool. So I might mess with that a little bit as well. Certainly. Could be very interesting. I like that idea. Police lights from behind the camera. Oh, dang, that's good too. Man, you guys with these freaking ideas. Oh, look at that. Happy Saturday from Soundwave. Man, y'all. Heck yeah, Soundwave with the super chat. That's my third one of all time. I got my second one from Melanie. You guys are freaking awesome. Thank you so much. God dang, this is awesome. Soundwave, I appreciate you very, very much. Thank you for joining the stream. Thank you for the super chat. Really, really, really appreciate it. Very much. Wow, you guys are great. What else could we do? Person with a machete. Add something like a person just to see part of him, like an eye or a silhouette. Maybe someone behind the tree or something. What if the reflection of the sticks were body shaped instead? Oh man, that would be next level. I feel like you'd have to change the I would have to change the like the setup of the picture. I'd have to change the point of the picture. So the tree, getting the tree and the sticks and everything, it'd be possible. Okay, look, it'd be possible if we did this. If instead of a horizontal view, we went vertical. All right, and we zoomed in. Or rather, we punched in. Gravestone under the tree. Yeah, certainly. Certainly. How about some kind of Slenderman looking thing? Okay. How about some torn clothes fabric hanging from the tree? Could be good. Yeah, could be good. I think the focus on the crows is nice. I want to add more crows. Probably more to the outside of this thing. You guys like vertical better? Super Dutch angle with the freak who's only visible and the reflection would be great. So you see what I mean though? You have to change the... It's more of a vertical frame so you see more of the water. Now we get the tree and the reflection down below. And if we went into the reflection here and we went to the medium and we changed... Let's see, the absorption. If we just went white with the absorption, would that make the water brighter? Difficult to tell. Difficult to tell. The roughness. If we put the roughness up, no, that was not going to do it. Now we could fake it and just add an area light. Whoa, that's creepy. Ooh, suspend crows in the air? Like have them flying by kind of thing? Or just like freaking like Death Stranding crows floating, you know? Freddie, I made a render with the exact same vibe as well today, so that's awesome. Hope you're having a good time. Yes, I'm having a great time, and it's cool that you did a render very similar. We're on the same wavelength here. The tree on fire, seen in the reflection. Dang, that'd be sweet. That'd be freaking creepy. That's not bad. Not bad at all. Something floating in the water, beer bottle or something. Yeah, that's a good idea. Or a tire. Or like leaves. We could do like leaves scattered across the water. Ooh, crows flying away like something just happened. Okay, that's not bad, but I think that's going to be easiest in Photoshop after the fact. Yeah, I think that'll be easiest in Photoshop after the fact. Okay, I hear all your suggestions. They are amazing. Let's continue. Let's change out the sticks, right? We were gonna do that a minute ago, so let's take care of that. Okay. So let's load these guys in. Stick number 1. We just need the color, we need the roughness, and we need the normal map. So I'm going to drag those into the scene here. And I don't even need to render it because I know that this stuff is going to work no problem. And my computer's catching up with me here. All right, so that's number 1. And let's go branch number 2. What the heck? Freddy with the freaking super chat. What, dude? I don't know what NOK is, but goodness. Wow. Wow, dude. Thank you so much. That is awesome, man. Dang, I don't know what to say. Freddie, thank you. Besides, yeah, thank you so much. That is very, very, very kind of you to do that, man. That is freaking so cool. Wow. I really hope, yeah, I hope you guys are getting something out of this. I hope you guys are learning from this. This is really fun for me, and it's really, really, really cool to see that you guys are down for this experience. So, wow, Freddie. Dude, you are the man. Thank you, man. Dude, that is awesome. That is awesome. Dude, just for that, man. Let's do a little bit of something here. Let's do a little bit of this. Let's hop in here. Boom. Thanks, Freddie. Oh, it's with a Y. I'm used to spelling other Freddie's name. Thank you, Freddie. Dude, let's get you a better font than a default font, man. Let's get you some freaking like, ooh, what's this one? Some freaking Splinter Cell font. And we'll get that like chromed out. Chromed out look, and then we'll go with like a little Pro Studios metal. Boom. Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. That's crazy. Too kind. Too kind. All right. I think we have. Where was I? What happened? We have a branch, and we're gonna drop it into this scene, and let's see. Come on, computer. I know you can do it. Awesome. Yeah, you guys rock. Thank you so much for doing this. Ooh, a hand sticking out of the water. Could be sweet. Oh, Amir. What's up, Amir? Amir is a very good friend from Georgia. And Brett's from Georgia as well. So good to see you, Amir. Amir is freaking awesome. He's a good photographer, good artist. He's actually got a lot of his prints on sale as well at his store. And I'm sorry, I misused. He's not a photographer. He's an artist. So he draws a lot of really cool stuff. Very fancy looking stuff. He's very, very talented. CG Studio, welcome. Welcome. Man, you guys are dark. Dead body floating on the water? Snap. Okay. Let's get focused here. We have our tree branch. Let's get the other branch going. Tree branch number 3. We'll do the same deal. Make a new texture. Roughness, normal, color. Drop those in. And, apologies for... I have to load these assets in, and this is not fun to watch, but at least you guys get an idea of how to do this in C4D. And I just hope that you guys are getting something from this. So we just did that. We just loaded our texture onto this branch. We're going to copy this branch and paste it into our scene as well. So we have both assets there. Cool, cool. And then let's set this up so that let's group our crows, just clean up a little bit. We have our cloner and it's on our stake. So we turn the cloner off and we see our stake is here. So let's take the tree branches and match that. So we'll scale this thing or move it up, and let's rotate it so it's standing up tall like this. And let's move the axis point or the gizmo down to the bottom of this thing. But first, let's just change it so it's right side up, and we'll get that point center down to the bottom. Okay, why did that did not work? There we go. So we got that one. We'll scale it down. And we'll get the little head right on there. And we'll delete, maybe we'll keep that one there as well. So we'll have like a different variety of heads and sticks and stuff. And I think that's really going to add to the scene here. And then we'll do our last branch. We'll rotate that guy up 90 degrees, move it up, and we'll also get the axis down to the bottom of this guy. Oh, okay, so if you notice, we rotated it. The y-axis is looking to the right. We want to check this little enable axis tool, and that way you're going to move the axis around, right? So you just want to zero out the rotation so it's proper, and then you can execute that move and it'll work. We'll scale it down as well. Okay. And dude, Ahmed with the freaking super chat. Son. Dang. Heck yeah. You guys rock so much. Thank you, Ahmed. Dude, let's get the super chat ball rolling, dude. Heck yeah. Appreciate you, dude. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Ahmed. Rock on, dude. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. You guys are freaking awesome. Yeah, the super chat is freaking great. And just so you guys know, I do have a website. So if you do want to donate a little bit and get something back, this is a good way to do so as well. They're a little bit pricier, right? They're $40 a shot. And it does scale up if you want a larger size, but you guys do get something in return. Obviously, not like you're not getting something here right now because we're learning stuff, and teaching stuff, and doing stuff together. My God, freaking CG Studio, son. Y'all made me do a spin move. Thank you so much. Your contributions are much appreciated. Very much appreciated. I can get a couple more kombuchas now because of you guys. So I appreciate it. And Sarath says collaborate with Ren on the next stream. I think that's a good idea. I think that's a very good idea. God dang. Y'all are freaking awesome. Much appreciated. Chad Ashley. Oh my God. Freaking chat. Chad Ashley. Guys, do you guys know who Chad Ashley is? Freaking, look. Chad Ashley is the man. He is the texture master. Look at this guy. Look at this guy right here. Boom, Chad Ashley. Coming at you. Bam. Chad Ashley works at Grayscale Gorilla. And I learned a lot of what I am doing right now from Chad. He is one of the texture masters. And he's got, look, he did this everyday collection, material collection right here. And I use it a lot. It's fantastic. Super high-res stuff. He's just making it from scratch like a freaking boss. So, Chad Ashley, it is an honor and a privilege to have you in the stream. I appreciate it very, very much. All right. So, let's keep moving here. We're putting these heads on sticks here. So, let's do a little copy-paste action. Let's move this guy up a little bit. Get out of the axis mode. Hitting S to snap the viewport to the object I have selected. And now we have our three scatter head stick thingies here. So I'm just going to give these a little random rotation. Right? Let's see. So now I can take those three sticks with the heads on them and put it in the cloner. So let's just make sure everything's organized. We have our tree branches. Let's put that under stake, and we want to split those up a little bit so it's not, we're not, cloning these three dealies. We want to clone them individually, so let's just get smart with this here. We want this tree branch and that head together, so we'll group those. And then we want this head and that little piece together, so we'll group those. And now you see how we have the three different options, right? You put those in a cloner, you turn the cloner back on, hop back into your camera mode, and would you look at that, we're getting some variety. But if you notice, it looks like things are duplicated. So I think what we're going to do is just need to tweak our random modifier just a bit. So if we go to the if we go to parameter, okay, let's uncheck scale. We'll just leave scale as is. We're going to want to mess, I think, with the rotation a bit more. So the thing that's really giving it away for me is like these two right in the foreground are very similar. So we could just kind of like, we could add more options. We could add more sticks and more variety. Now, why are my sticks floating? Let's zoom in here and get out of camera view, and let's take a look at this here. And this stick is certainly floating, and that one is buried deep underground. And I think the reason that's happening, to be honest, is because we're scattering these sticks over this plane right here, and I don't think it's taking the deformer into account. So we could, let's see, CG Studio, thank you for the super chat. I see you, man. Very generous, very, very kind. Much appreciated. Coming back at it. Freaking Christian with another super chat. Thank you, sir. Much appreciated. Thanks for the kombucha, dude. Keeping me healthy. Heck yeah. Thank you. So yeah, I think the plane is not, or the scatter is not counting the deformer. So how do we do this here? How do we do this? If there's any suggestions, I'm all ears. Let's see. Add some vines, the moss. All right, it's been fun. See you Saturday. Douglas the shrimp. Appreciate you, brother. See you on the next one. Substance Painter. Yes. I would love some Substance Painter. Freaking love Substance Painter. And Chad is actually super good at Substance Painter, or Substance Designer rather. I actually don't know if he's messed with Painter, but yeah, Substance is awesome. Super, super cool program. Where you basically make textures with black and white noise maps. And CG Studio, dude, with the freaking super chat again, dude. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. Thank you. That's awesome. Okay, Joel says, put the plane in a connect and maybe clone from that. Okay, yeah, that's a good idea. So let's do that. With the plane selected, if I hold Alt and come down into this little drop down and choose connect, and then reference that in the cloner. So instead of the plane, we'll do the connect. And it's thinking. I think it's thinking. No, that didn't work. Maybe, is there like, I don't really know. I could obviously just make it editable. I can make the plane editable, which I'll probably just do because I'm happy with the way the plane is deforming. So just in case, I'll control drag to duplicate that. And I will hit C or press this little button up here, or this button up here, right? If I were to undo that, hit C or make editable, and that should, do I have to, okay, maybe I need to select both, right click, connect objects plus delete. That'll do it. So now in our cloner, we'll reference that. And god dang, CG Studio with a frickin' another super chat, dude. Holy crap. Thank you. Appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. That's awesome. Yeah, we get that super chat ball rolling. That's great. Is it supposed to be skulls? It can be skulls. We made some creepy faces that we can add onto it. But let's just make sure this cloner's working right now. Why is this cloner still not working? I don't understand. I'm cloning these objects across plane 3. And they're like underground. Let me turn off the random modifier. So it's, why are some underground and some are above ground? I feel like the random modifier, it's not, is it like not, does it think the y-axis is actually something else? What if I zeroed out this position? I'm so confused now. What is going on? Is it transform? Oh, I think. Wow. It looks like they're rotating from different axes. Okay, that'd be the brute force way of doing it. You could try increasing the height of all the sticks a lot and then move them up. But I know this can work. Let me just check what I'm cloning. So let's turn off the cloner. Let's hit S to snap to. I think this is why. You see how they're kind of like, they're not sitting proportional, and that's why. Look, it's because the axis for this is right there, and when it's rotating stuff, it's rotating it from different points. So what we need to do is hit L or enable our axis tool and just move this down to the bottom. You could also use the axis center tool here and just execute that. Point center, include children, use all objects, and let's not do point center. That should work. Yeah, that feels right to me. And let's just do that for all of these here. So this is going to need to, let's do the same. So that's at the bottom, but since it's like a wonky shape, we'll manually scoot this axis point over, hit S to try and snap to that. Boom, so that's in the center, and then finally we'll do the last one, which that one actually is floating, you can see it. I think this is going to fix our issue. It's just our axis points here. Boom. Okay, so that should work. CG Studio with freaking super chats again. Change the pivot of the object. Yes, yes, absolutely. I see you, dude. So now, I feel like now this is going to work. I'm going to zero out the position of all of these right now. Just to be triple clear. That's going to work. Now let's turn it back on, go back into this view here, and now I believe it is working. Yes. Ahmed, thank you. I really appreciate you, brother. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you for your donation. And thank you for coming to the chat and or coming to our stream here and learning a thing or two and joining us and making something awesome. I'll see you on the next one, dude. Okay. So there's still a lot of copy paste here in these sticks. So we'll deal with that a little later. You know, it's just a lot of grunt work that it's not too exciting. So let's go to our random modifier and let's turn the position back on. I liked that. The rotation, yeah, it's nice. I'm going to get rid of the Dutch for now, just so I don't lose my mind. And the tree we can make a little darker. Let's actually spread some like dead grass around the ground here. So I'm gonna do that by loading in some Megascans assets here. Once again with the Megascans, let's see. If you guys don't know about these guys, my goodness, they're the best. 3D assets. They should have plants or something. Tree? Would it be under trees? 3D assets. They might just have a whole one for 3D plants. They do. So all this stuff, like grass, you can get some dead grass. So everything's pretty dead in our scene. So we'll do that. Let's get some dead grass going. Let's bring that in. Where are you at, dead grass? I know you're around here somewhere. Megascans, 3D assets, plants. What would it be? Grassy clumps. Dry grass, dry plant. Sure. Let's try dry grass. What are you looking like? Dry grass? What are you looking like these days? Oh, HDR browser. Hello? What's going on? Here we go. This will work. And once again, if C4D is going a little slow on you, just look at that bottom left and see what it's doing. It's generating materials, so just give it a second. You don't want to break anything. Remember to save. Robin, I think that's how you pronounce her name, says, remember to save, and I agree with you. You should always save. Dude, we've been going for 3 hours right now. My goodness. We're going to wrap this thing up pretty quick, but I could do this all day. This is very fun for me, but I do need to eat at some point, so let's finish this thing up. Freaking CG Studios 400. I don't even know what that is. Whoa. It's like yen or something? Dude, regardless, much appreciated, dude. That is awesome. He asks, CG Studio asks, mouse or graphics tablet? Which one do you like the most? So right now, I am using a mouse. It's actually a rat. This thing is ridiculous. I've had this for so long. For so long. It's a gaming... You can see how many times I've clicked. Look at that. Just wearing away at this thing. It looks like a jet engine thing. You can actually move these pieces around, and it comes with different parts. You shape it to your hand. There's like a aim assist button right here. It slows down the sensitivity. You can throw weights on the back. There's like a bunch of different weights back here. But right now I'm using a mouse. But the only reason I'm using a mouse right now is because my graphics tablet, I have a Wacom Intuos 4 Pro. So I use a pen. And the whole reason I'm doing this is because it saves you on that carpal tunnel. And if graphic artists need to use their wrists for the rest of their lives, then why risk it? Why use a mouse? Yeah, this is the tablet that I usually use. I love it. It's smaller. I don't need a huge one. And it's not one of the ones where you see the screen on here. It's just, you know, like a little pen tablet deal that connects to your computer. You can flip it around whichever way works best for you. It has a lot of hotkeys and special buttons and stuff. And this is what I prefer. This is what I use at work, at Corridor. It's usually what I use at home. But recently, the latest update on this thing kind of janked out my system. Or rather, it made it difficult to use. So I'm waiting for the next update on this, which should probably come out in, who knows. It's like every few weeks or so. But yeah, usually I'm using this guy, the Intuos 4 Pro Wacom tablet with the little pen, you know, and the eraser even works too. You store it in this little guy. But yeah, invest in your health, right? Why risk breaking your wrists when you don't need to? But good question, CG Studio, and thank you for the super chat. It is much, much appreciated. All right. It looks like Terminator Mouse, dude. Living in 2189. Heck yeah, man. Christian asks, does it speed up or slow down your workflow with the tablet? I'm thinking about switching my mouse to this. Please do it. It speeds up my workflow. I love it. I use it a whole bunch, man. So, yeah. Okay, let's grab some of this grass. This stuff looks gross, and it's all... Yeah, let's just take these 6 here. Heck, let's take all of it but that stuff in the back. Let's copy it, and let's go back into our scene and paste it. Okay, and give Octane and C4D a second here. It's going to think about what it's... No, it's done thinking. Okay. We want to scatter this stuff, right? So let's hop out of our camera view. We can even throw a protection tag on our camera to make sure we don't get, we don't move it. So boom, throw a protection tag on there. So now you can't move the camera, right? And if you do accidentally move the camera, and you want to get back to the exact point you were in, if you hit Control-Shift-Z, you'll start undoing camera moves, and only camera moves. And the same is true for Control-Shift-Y if you want to redo things, right? So that is a huge time saver. All right, so let's scatter this grass across our scene, okay? So actually I just need those three right there, plus maybe this guy. Yeah. We don't need any of the other ones. I accidentally grabbed some duplicates. So let's just get rid of those 2s and 1s there. So we have our 4 types of grass we want to scatter across this muddy plain. So what we'll do is, you saw me use a C4D scatter, but I'm going to use an Octane scatter on this one. So yeah, it's just a little Octane scatter. I'm going to select all 4 of these, drop it into Octane Scatter, and it works basically the same. And let's select what we want to scatter it across. So we will select, sorry guys, I'm blanking a little bit. We'll select our plane here. That's what we want. So with Octane Scatter selected, your distribution, you'll want to scatter across the surface, and you'll want to scatter across the surface of, it's looking for something, it's your plane 3. And let's just rename that to ground while we're at it, right? It looks like nothing's really happening, so let's go back to Octane Scatter. Let's set the count to like 5,000. So you see in our viewport, we have 5,000 little lines, right? And that should be scattering our stuff, but it looks like everything is laying down for some reason, and I think that's because the axis of all these things, are they off? Yeah, they're off. You see right here, this green arrow is the y-axis in Octane. So green y should be going up, and this is the lamest thing in the world, but the way I remember it, the y-axis goes up because you're going to say Yahoo when you freaking jump up in the air, and when you come back down, you're going to say Yahoo, because that's what people say when you go up and you go down is Yahoo, and it starts with a Y, and that's the dumbest, lamest way I remember it. So just make sure your y-axis is pointed up, okay? And right now it's not. It's set to -90. So the way to fix that is if you just, and I believe that's the case for all of these. Select all 4 of them and hit L, or select the little axis tool over here, change the -90 to 0, and that will recorrect all of that so that your y-axis, your little Yahoo axis, is pointed straight up. And now when you check it, bam, son, it's gonna work. It's just gonna freaking work. Look at that. Let's go back into our Octane camera, and you can see it's scattered across the ground. And let's just render region here, and you can see that there. So basically everything's uniform again. Let's scatter a lot more around here. So let's do 20,000 scatters across the ground, and it's a little bright for me, so let's change the color of it in a second. But first, let's select Octane Scatter, and it's cool because you can actually use the Cinema 4D effectors on Octane Scatter as well. So I'm going to do a random effector, and it doesn't automatically get linked like it would if you had selected a C4D cloner and linked it. So you're going to have to click the Octane Scatter, go to the Effectors tab on the far right, and drag that random modifier in. Let's go back to the random modifier. Let's turn off position because it's already being randomly scattered positionally. We want to check rotation, right? And we want to make sure that the plants aren't all facing the same way, like little 2D cards. We want to rotate them randomly on, I believe, the y-axis is what we want. So let's get out of camera view and just make sure things are being rotated properly. So yes, it should be the first option. We'll set that to 360. That means everything's going to be randomly rotated at least by a full 360 degree deal. Moving on, let's just do like 20 degree by 20 degree so the plants all have a little bit of like tilt to them, you know, randomly tilted this way and that. Maybe set that to 35, 35, and 360. If we go 720, I doubt that'll do much, but because 360 is already enough. So now if we want to scatter the plants a bit more randomly, we can do a couple things. So if you go to Octane Scatter and you go to Distribution and scroll down here to Position, you can load in a noise map. And if you go to that noise map, you click that, and you set the contrast to 100. Basically what it's going to do, and let's even go a step further, global scale, let's set it to 1000. It's going to randomly distribute, it's going to use the noise map to basically say whatever's black, there's not going to be anything there. But whatever's white, we'll put stuff there. So it's an added way to randomize the distribution of the things you're scattering. Okay, let's take our global scale up to 2000 and render region, because we're just looking at the ground here. CG Studio, thanks again for the super chat, man. From India. I've always wanted to visit India. I will visit India. He says, you and Ren are my favorites in Corridor. Great fan of your work. Thank you so much. I very much appreciate all of your contributions to this thing, man. It's been insane. And yeah, we'll see if we can't get Ren on the next stream. I think that'd be awesome. Ren is incredible, very talented. Let's take these. Let's take the plants here and scale them up. So I'm just hitting T and just dragging and scaling up. And let's take the noise map. We obviously don't need to go intense with the 100% contrast, but let's take the noise and just change it to something else, like Poxo. What does Poxo look like? Oh, just like little bits. But is it working properly? Because I feel like this should just give you a little bit based on that noise map, right? Yeah, it should just scatter it. Maybe it's because the global scale needs to be turned way up. 3000 global scale. Just make sure I'm doing this right. Position, shader. Yeah, I'm using the noise map there. But that looks pretty nice. I think I'll take the count down to 15,000 instead. And let's go into the actual grass texture and just make it a little bit darker. So we'll take diffuse here And we'll throw a color correction node right on there. And let's just render region, right? And we'll just set the brightness to 0.5. And already that's doing a lot. That's doing a lot. Yeah, it's cool. It breaks up the ground texture and it also gives us a bit more detail in like our horizon line. It's not flat, you know, there's actually some stuff going on there. So I think that's great. And if you wanted to go next level, you could add another thing to your Octane scatter, right? You could add like taller grass, different kinds of dead grass. You can really go to town on that. So that might be something I do like later tonight or something, is just really bring this to the max. And yeah, let's see if we can't see if we can get this ground a bit more wet. So I'm going to go into the mud material here and remove the roughness channel. And last time I did this, it crashed. So sweet, that time it worked. I'm also going to remove the specular. And let's render region to see what it's going to look like. Man, you guys are awesome. We still have 60 viewers. That has been consistent the entire time. You guys are in on this. We've been going for 3.5 hours. How's everybody doing? Thumbs up? Thumbs up if you guys are doing all right. If you're surviving, if you need to leave soon, that's totally cool. I understand. Okay, you guys are saying you can't see much of the water. That's a good point. That is a good point. Because there's a lot of stuff breaking up the water. That's all the dead grass and stuff. So I think there might be a way to bring that back, in. So I'm gonna do a little test here. Robin asks where I post my finished renders, and I do that on my Instagram. That's at _pwnisher_. It's in the chat there for you guys. Unfortunately, someone has pwnisher, and I had to put underscores on the end of mine, so that's where I post all my photography and all my renders. All right, so maybe we can cheat this a little bit. Let's make an Octane light and move it over. And rotate it around. Point it down. Move it up. And we'll select the area light node, go to visibility, and check camera visibility. And obviously it's way too bright, so let's just take that down to like 10. Scale it across. Okay, what's the best way to do this? Wow, that looks so crazy. That is really interesting. Basically, I'm just trying to brighten up like the portion that is being reflected, and like by shining an area light into the fog, it's basically bouncing that light back. Now, how to make something only visible in reflections? That's an interesting question. visibility, shadow visibility, general visibility. Now I wonder if I'd just be able to like turn this way down like to 1 and point it just right at the water or something. Thomas, thanks for joining, man. Really appreciate you. Hope you have a good night's sleep. Hope it's not too scary for you. Sweet dreams. All right, let's try and wrap this thing up pretty soon here. I definitely agree with you guys that the water, we kind of lost a little bit of the water, and I'd like to bring that back. And maybe instead of using a specular material, I'm going to use a glossy material like we originally did. And set it to, let's see, we'll set it to 0 so it's completely reflective. But I think that's a bit much. So we can take maybe the opacity to 0.5. I think that works. 0.6. And we'll take the diffuse and make it like a nasty dark green or something. Maybe it's the specular we're looking for. Like a brownish, gross brown. Ugh. Rough. I lied. Let's take it back to white. But that feels pretty good to me. Like, you can control it now. So we have like just control the opacity on the ground there. So we got our reflections back. That's cool. Yeah, I guess what's next? We add the head. We can probably make the tree darker if we go to the willow tree, and if we just give it that black texture. Uh-oh, am I going to crash? Am I crashing? What's happening? That'll, yeah, hopefully if we make the willow tree, give it just a black texture, it'll show up a little bit darker, but honestly, you can just do that in Photoshop. You can tweak that in Photoshop. Oh, Joel says it's not that scary anymore. You should try to light the water from behind the camera. I don't know. I don't know if I disagree. I think it looks pretty creepy. I'm so torn because like the vertical one looks cool. The vertical composition looks cool, but I'm a sucker for for the horizontal as well. Nah, vertical looks cooler. Vertical looks cooler. Certainly. This is awesome. CG Studio, back with a super chat. Appreciate you, man. He says maybe you can add an emission material on a plane, then you can uncheck visibility on diffuse if you want to light only affecting the water. Okay, let me think about this for a second. Maybe you can add an emission material on a plane. Okay, so you use a plane as like a light. Then you can uncheck visibility on diffuse. So it's just, yeah, it's just like an invisible light basically. If you want a light only affecting the water. I wonder. Oh man. Okay, what if the scene was nighttime with the light source coming from a flashlight, as if someone is exploring at night with first person POV? That is creepy. Okay, that's creepy. Yeah, let me try let's try that. Let's try that. And the light in the water is interesting too. Let's just see what that looks like real quick, and then let's turn it nighttime and see if that looks cool. Okay. So this is with a light in the water. It's not working for some reason. I think it's because I need to change the water back to a specular material, and I think that would crunch up the render times hard. Super hard. But let me turn it night and let me see if that does anything. So basically what I'm going to do is I'll change the Octane Sky here. I'm going to duplicate the Octane Sky because I like what we have. I'll name this Octane Sky Gray, and then let's use the new one and switch it back to a texture. Let's go HDRI link. We're going to use their HDRI browser. And actually, Grayscale Gorilla came out with, or is coming out with, a really, really cool HDRI pack, and it's a space pack. And I think this actually might be pretty sweet for a night scene. So let's just grab, I don't know, let's grab a space evening sky and see what this does to our scene here. Okay, let's turn on this area light and move it down. And let's turn the Octane area light into an IES light. And we're going to select an Ies Profile to give us kind of like a flashlight look. Let's change the power back to 100 and rotate this thing in the right direction and scale it properly. Let's scale this thing down. And let's move the light just behind the camera so it looks like, you know, someone's holding a flashlight. And this is very reminiscent of like a Beeple render. He actually just did he did one called Power Up with Luigi, and he does one with like Pikachu in the sewers and in the caves, and it's just so freaking creepy. But let's switch to DL. It's gonna make this process a lot faster. Direct lighting. Let's turn off the post-processing. And that is like legit terrifying. Let's crank up the brightness on this guy. That's so creepy. Let's go to the HDRI, and I just want to make sure it's working. It's very dark, so let's switch it to a daylight one and see if it's working. Okay, and I don't think it's working. So what I'll do here, because it's a little too dark, I think that's awesome. But I also think, let's see. I also think it'd be nice if we could see that tree. And maybe we can throw another light up here and light the tree from underneath. Oh, but I was supposed to duplicate that. Let's bring it back. And I feel like the only thing you need is like something actually in the background, you know? And let's see if we can, dude, do I keep not copying this light? What is going on? Let's actually copy this light. Why is it, okay, hold on. That's so weird. Or you could backlight the tree. Actually, let's do that. That's going to be awesome if we backlight the tree. So let's turn this light around 180. Let's make it a little larger. And I think if we can get our HDRI working, that's kind of what I'm going for to backlight the tree with. But you guys will get an idea if we hop back into the camera. And you can now see how the scene is a little bit backlit. And give it a second, because when you go nighttime, when you turn the lights off, for some reason, I don't know, it just starts crunching things down. And I think it's the fog. Honestly, the fog is not helping us with our render times here. But we're getting a volumetric effect with the light, and that's the way we're illuminating the air particles behind the tree. And without the fog, we wouldn't be getting this backlight effect. CG Studio, thank you. Thank you for your contribution on this stream. It's much appreciated, man. I hope you get a good night's sleep. But yeah, you guys can see this render is just taking eons. So I'm going to go back to the original look here. I'm going to get our fog going again. And we can even tone down this color here to like more of a dark vibe. Then maybe turn it blue. and that'll kind of give us like a fake night look. Something like this, where you can still see the fog. You get the fog, but you also get the night vibes at the same time. And it's very similar to, there's a level in Resident Evil 4 when you go back to the village and you hit the cemetery, and I'm getting vibes right now from that. Very similar. But yes, I agree. I did like the original hazy look, so I'm gonna stick with that. I like this very much. Very, very much. So I think I'm gonna have to bounce out here, guys, but I really appreciate everybody. I'm gonna keep working on this thing. I'll work on it tonight. I'm gonna add the heads, whether they're skulls or those heads that we made. I'm gonna do switch up some sticks, a couple more sticks and stuff. I'm gonna hop into Photoshop and edit this thing a little bit, work with the contrast and work with the vignette, make sure that's looking nice. Anything else? I might add something in the water, like a tire or something very subtle. And then I think those crows flying away would be a nice touch. So, yeah, that's the vibe, guys. This was a fun one. This was a really, really fun one. This is the second time I have made an image on the stream that will be uploaded to my Instagram. If you guys want to see the final, just follow me on Instagram. I'm at _pwnisher_. That's, I mean, you guys are on the YouTube page here. It's pwnisher with underscores on the front and the back. So you guys will see this final image there, and I'm gonna add some film grain to it and make it. I really what my goal is with these renders is not to do something that's totally fake and out of the realm of realistic. I want to make renders that look like photos, like I took a shot with like my film camera or something. Because I'm really into film photography, and you'll see a lot of that on my Instagram and on my website. It's noisegrainandlight.com. Once again, I know I have the super chat enabled, and you guys have been killing it on this stream. I also have my website. If you guys want to actually get a physical thing shipped from me to you guys, I have these shots here. And you guys can kind of see where I get my inspiration from, like this kind of setup here, very foggy, very peaceful. And I want my renders to look like this, I want it to look like a photograph. So that's kind of what I'm going with my photography, right? Is like, this kind of vibe here. But thank you guys so much for everything. I really appreciate everyone, and I look forward to next Saturday. We'll come back at it, and maybe we'll do a render challenge where we have like 2 hours. We have assets that are pre-uploaded to Google Drive or something, and we'll do a render challenge together. And if Melanie has her sketch pad, she'll draw something, But whatever, you guys just keep it up, keep your passion going throughout the week. Practice your passion at least once an hour. Practice your passion at least once a day for an hour. And I promise you will get better at it much faster. Much, much, much faster. But yeah, I really appreciate you guys. This has been the first chat where like the super chat blew up. I thought it was so cool. You guys are awesome. So yeah, let's keep it up. Let's keep going. Let's make something cool together. Join the Discord channel if you have not already. The link is in the description of this video here. I have my Spotify ambient playlist. You can join that and do some super atmospheric renders. You can do super atmospheric renders with some atmospheric music. What else is in there? I also have like a movie reference frame package where I saved out all my favorite stills from my favorite movies, and you guys can use those as reference for lighting or cinematography, composition, all that good stuff. I think that's everything. Thanks again, and I'll see you guys next time on the next chat. Peace.